We're doing things a bit differently today, gamers. Instead of a very long-winded starting soon screen, I want to shake things up a bit. We're gonna do a tier list while we wait for some people to come in here, and then get into the meat and potatoes of the video. How does that sound? I feel like that's more interesting and gives me some more shit to yap about, because that's what I do for a living. So I just kind of went on I went on this tiermaker.com and found a tier list for Tumblr sexy men. And I saw it had 67 images, so I was like, "Oh, perfect. That's exactly what we're going to do." So here we go. I don't know what the people are yet, so we're going to find out. Okay. Okay, so we got this is a pony character, right? No, it's a goat. I don't like goats. Plankton can fit into which place you might desire. So I feel like that just automatically guarantees at least A tier minimum. This guy, oh shoot, I know who he is. If I saw this movie, it was like forever ago. I cannot really remember what it's called. Shit. Oh my god, it's not like Coraline, is it? No, it's something like along those lines though. That type of animation. Anyway, he's got some nice eyeshadow, so I think that gives him a solid C tier. Corpse Bride, that's what it is. Yeah. Actually, no, I like the animation style, so I'm gonna do B tier. This is Slenderman. So apparently people were actually attracted to all these characters. But wait, that's Johnny Depp? Okay, that's A tier at least. Johnny Depp's hot. Slenderman is C. I feel like I'm a little disappointed in Slenderman, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the concept was kind of neat when I first saw it. I thought it was cool, but it didn't really like develop any depth and didn't go anything further than just kind of like some random ass internet like memes and like, I don't know, just people being weird about it, kids being weird about it. So I don't know, it was one of those things that I thought was kind of cool and could have been cooler and just kind of ended up disappointing me. And then I guess someone like murdered someone over it, so it's legacy now. This is a one of the Transformers. I don't know which one. It's not the Optimus Prime guy. That's not the bad one, is it? This isn't, I don't know who this one is. But it's a robot. Those are famously hard to fuck. I literally have no clue what this guy is. If any of you guys know, I'm gonna add in a tier. Can I add a tier? Oh, I don't know. We'll add a little pink tier for that. Oh shit, wait. Did I just, wait, what the hell? Undo. Did I just create, wait, hold on. F, and then this will be, I don't know. And then this will be purple. And what color was this tier? This was like a blue then? Yeah, okay. I'm putting him in, I don't know. I'm gonna have so many people in this list, that's fine. Yeah. Hey, whoa! Yo! Thank you so much. It's cutting off your name. Why is it cutting off your name? Reza Blade. I'm so sorry. Oh, Reza Blade. Obviously. That's a sick name. I love how you spelled it. Hi, I've been a fan for a long time. Bye. Runs away. Thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the support. Wow. You spoil me. Wait, this is Starscream? Wait, okay, I do know Starscream. Starscream is the one that becomes a fucking jet. That's pretty cool. You can find a way to fuck a jet, so I'm gonna put that up at B. Not a Half-Life stream today. I thought I was gonna mix it up and throw in some director's commentaries so I don't, neglect those while I do the whole marathon. Maybe I'll stream later if there's time. We'll see. We're just doing a quick little tier list before the director's commentary. It's coming. Don't worry, gamers. It's coming. I don't know who this guy is. I'm putting him there. Sasuke. He's kind of a whiny little bitch. I'm on season 4 of Naruto. He's a little whiny bitch and thinks he's so cool, which he is. But I will say, the way he says Naruto is so funny. He just like becomes like he just gets like possessed by the spirit of the seven samurai, and he always goes like Naruto every time he says it. It's so funny. I think that's such a hot way to say it. So he guarantees himself. I'll put him A tier just for that accent. This is one of the Gorillaz guys. Okay, this might be a really hot take. I like the Gorillaz like band. Their music is great. I don't really get like the fan base though, because I've seen a person that I follow on Instagram, on my private Instagram, just kind of become feral for the Gorillaz people, and I don't get it. I really don't. Hey, thank you for the sub, Adriana. I don't get it. Like, it's just, is there like content? Is there like a series? I don't. It doesn't really click with me. It's just kind of like guys. Plus, I'm not a big fan of like zombie aesthetic, so this kind of puts me off in general. But I don't know. It's like one of those weird things where like for some reason they have such a huge ravenous fan base for these like virtual characters, but I don't know of any content that they fucking exist in outside of making music, which is great. Their music is great, but it's the music. You know, like I don't know why people aren't like thirsting over the real people. I don't know. It's a weird thing to me, so I'm gonna put him in D tier. I like the music though. That's why he's not lower. I actually haven't seen Megamind, or the movie that he's from. I don't know if it's called Megamind. I really need to. It looks like it'd be right up my alley. I don't know why I haven't, but the memes alone put him at least B tier. I think that it's worthy of that. You love my videos? Thank you so much. Thanks for the support. But I feel like I can't put him higher than that because I'd be a fraud. Megamind S tier. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm a fraud. I can't do that. Yeah, I know. It looks amazing. I need to watch Megamind. I will. Now this guy I've seen before. I don't. Oh, fuck. What is he from? I know it. Like once it's said, I will know who this guy is. But you know, I always like kind of these sketchy art styles. So I'll put him. I don't know who he is. So I can't really properly rank him. I have literally no clue who this guy is too with a T. Oh, from Don't Starve. That's right. Okay. I don't know who this fucker is, but even though I don't know him, I hate him. I hate his face, so he's gonna go in F tier. Connor. This is Connor, right? From Detroit Become Human. I have seen. Wait, Turbo? What the fuck? Turbo from Wreck-It Ralph? I haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph either. I think I've missed out on a lot of the Tumblr stuff. You know? I don't know the Tumblr media. There's a lot that are just like over my head. I need to see it. Okay, who did I? Oh yeah, Connor. I've only watched the Game Grumps play a little bit of Detroit Become Human. I haven't seen all that much, but I like Connor. He's cool. I don't know if he's like super fucking hot. I mean, he's hot and he's cool, but he doesn't like stand out as like, you know, a thing that comes to mind like Plankton. Like when I think hot masculine men, Plankton kind of comes to mind. Am I right? The Gecko is S tier. The voice just does it. It's just perfect. I don't know who he is. I know it's from Animal Crossing, but I don't really know who he is specifically, so I'm gonna put him there. Who the fuck is this? I've literally never even seen this like art style. Who's Mr. Pink? Pink Skullhead. I don't even know. Am I just like completely out of touch? No clue. Isn't he canonically unfuckable? That's a disappointment, but we'd find a way. You know, I feel like that's like one of the messages of the game. I haven't finished it, but you know, I'd figure life finds a way is kind of one of the main themes. Connor can fuck. We'll figure it out together. We'll hold hands while we figure it out. It looks like no one knows who the fuck this pink-haired skeleton man is. I wish I could click it and it would like tell me. I feel like that's a necessary feature. This looks like a Pokemon trainer or a Pokemon boss. But I don't know, or gym leader. I don't know who he is though. Okay, so Beetlejuice is peak. That movie is actually fucking amazing. I don't know if you guys have seen Beetlejuice. Is there a remake? I don't know. The original Beetlejuice is genuinely a masterpiece of a movie. Um, Now the question is, how do you weigh that with like Beetlejuice being a very non-fuckable guy? Like Beetlejuice isn't that good. Crazy opinion. That's a crazy opinion, bro. I can't be hearing none of that. You're gonna have to be quiet for this ranking. Hey GT, thank you so much for the donation. Thanks for all the awesome content. It's been I've been really enjoying the live streams. I've been happy doing it a lot more. This is my fourth fucking stream this week. That's fucking nuts. I have not done that in a hot minute. So this has been fun, and I kind of want to keep it going and figure out a proper schedule. Okay, so Beetlejuice, I don't really want to fuck him, but the movie is very good. So I think, oh man, the movie really carries a lot of weight for me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna put, he's not. I don't like him himself. I'll put him there, B tier. I don't know who this one is, but he looks young, and that's weird. I don't know who this guy is either. Who the fuck is that? I don't know who either of these two guys are. Herobrine? What? I mean, he's not Beetlejuice tier. He's cool for just the clout alone. Like, a Herobrine fuck is a fuck for clout. Like, let's be for real. We don't know anything about him. So I think that just puts him in C tier. It's not Steve. This is Herobrine. He has the white eyes. And I was so on board with the Portal 2 Take 2 that I just took you down a couple of ranks on my list, for real. Hey, your list is kind of ass if you don't consider Beetlejuice an amazing movie. I'm not going to lie. Everyone likes Portal 2. That's not a very cool take. Let's be real. Okay, this is Nagito from Danganronpa 2. So, if for those who don't know, the Danganronpa games, I haven't played them. I've only watched them, and they're they're an experience. They're very anime-y in terms of like their writing and how people act. Nagito is one of the best characters in my opinion, but from what I understand, people like obsess over him like they are in love with him. But he's kind of like a psychotic, evil, gross man. That's why I like him. He's fucking evil and weird and causes a lot of interesting situations. But I feel weird saying I like him because I don't want to be, grouped up with those disgusting people that like actually, are in love with him. So because of that, I'll put him in C tier. Because, like, I mean, at the end of the day, Danganronpa isn't all that great, honestly. It's okay. It's fun. It's a fun time, but it's not, like, amazing. Ooh. Is this supposed to be, Barney? Is that? Yeah, Barney. Yeah, okay. It's hard to tell. I'm so used to his Half-Life 2 face. Barney is an S tier. Like, just through and through. Barney from Half-Life 1. Is he not the same Barney from Half-Life 2? I mean, we just played Half-Life 1 on stream, for those of you who don't know. But Barney in Half-Life 2... Hold on. That's what he looks like. Like, come on. Dude, talk about a hunk. Holy shit, pulling up Google Images on stream is risky. I mean, don't get me wrong, this does it for me too, sure, but like, damn, dude, damn, look at him. Fuck, yeah, he's S tier. That's probably the easiest S tier so far. Barney is goated. Man, he's pale in the original. Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, they've been in an underground facility for God knows how long. He's seen better days. Kylo Ren from the new Star Wars movies. I think he was one of the only redeeming parts of the sequels. I really like Adam Driver as an actor. I think he does an amazing job in most everything he's in. And Kylo Ren, I think, is a pretty great character, mostly because of Adam Reed, or Adam Driver, not Adam Reed. But I mean, as like the writing in the sequels is kind of meh overall, so like he can only do so much carrying him. But overall, I think he's an A tier just because I think Adam Driver is amazing. He did the best. Yeah, exactly what you said. He tried his best in a shitty trilogy. Exactly. So I got to give him credit for that. You know. Rick. So I really liked Rick and Morty. I haven't seen it since season like 4 or 5. I don't know what they're at now. Like what, 6? Rick and Morty seasons. 9? No shot. 9? Holy shit. Wow. Oh wow, dude, they've been pumping them out. Oh my god. Okay, because I remember when I was watching Rick and Morty, it was like a long ass wait. Like, yeah, it was like 2013 and 2014. Okay, these kind of came out quick, but yeah, right here maybe is what I'm thinking of. Or like these seasons, like 3 and 4, they took like 2 years to come out. And so I remember having to wait like what felt like an incredible amount of time for an adult animated TV show that only was like 10 episodes. That's insane that they have fucking 9 seasons now. I don't know what he's like now, but I think genuinely, like, I know it's like a meme to like, it's one of those shows that was really, really good. It became so popular and it almost got too popular to now people are saying it was actually ass and always was ass. It's not. It was actually a really good show. And Rick was a really great character. And so I'm going to put him in A tier. Fuck it. I don't know who this guy is. This is I gotta speed up so we actually get to the fucking meat and potatoes of this show. But yeah, Rick and Morty fatigue is set in. That's pretty much why people hate on him. But just in a vacuum, ignoring the fan base and the fatigue and the oversaturation, Rick is a great character, and I think the reason I would fuck Rick is because there's no doubt he could make the best, most stimulating sex, pocket pussy ever. So yeah. This is King Dice, right? Cuphead was awesome. I think rubber hose animation. I mean, come on, dude. Those rubber hose animation. That's the most fuckable type of animation. He goes in S tier. I've seen his face. I don't know who this guy is. Do I know? Is this supposed to be like Doctor Who? Who the fuck is this? I don't know who that is. Wheatley? Wheatley is the highest S tier. Holy shit. I fucking love Wheatley. Oh my god. Portal 2, best game of all time. Wheatley, one of the best characters in the best game of all time. S tier. Holy shit. If GLaDOS was on here, I'd have to make a whole new tier for GLaDOS. What is, I don't know who this guy is. This guy's going into I don't know. Oh, the clock from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I'm not gonna lie, I've never once thought about fucking a clock, but I mean, hey, when you got 2 arms that can do 360s, you can do some incredible things in bed. So let's put him in B tier. Baldy from Baldy Basics. So you're a sucker for a British accent is what I'm getting at here. James Bond is like my favorite IP ever. So what does that tell you? I've referenced Daniel Craig being hot in I think multiple videos of mine. So yeah, the writing's on the wall, which is the name of a Bond song, so that's a double whammy joke. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. He looks like some animated style I've seen a million times. I genuinely have no clue who this person is. Cicero is like one of my favorite characters from Skyrim. So I'm gonna put him in A tier. I'd fuck the shit out of Cicero. And I hope he'd get his maiden involved too. The corpse, yeah, that we can do some crazy things there. Wait, is this supposed to be the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland? Is that what? I don't know. Is that it? Let me know if that's the Mad Hatter. I don't know if I know who that is. Daniel Craig is the least hot James Bond. You're the least hot Woodchuck 94 OG. Get the fuck out of here. Can I ban you? How do I ban you? I could ban. Wait, can't, I don't know how to ban you. You're safe this time, but if I had mods, they would be banning you right now for that take. Fucking animals in my chat. I can't have animals in my chat. You look at Daniel Craig and you're like, oh, this is disgusting. Like, get out of here. Insane. This guy is the bad guy from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I haven't seen it, but he sings one of the best songs in the movie, Hellfire. I love that. I love that movie, or that song. I haven't seen the movie, though. There's a lot of shit in here that's just like, I haven't seen it. So I'll put him in D tier. Just I haven't seen it, and but he's kind of goated for that song. Have you heard Hellfire in Latin? No, I've not. I love the Knives Out trilogies. I've only seen the first one. I need to watch the others. That scene walking out of the ocean alone, my man. You know, I would dap you up right now if I can. Oh fuck, what video was that? There's some video. Was it my? Oh shit, I can't remember. I talked about like peak male physique or like peak hotness or whatever, and I used the picture of Daniel Craig walking out of the ocean. James Bond ocean. Let me see if I can. Yeah, this like this picture of him walking out of the ocean in Casino Royale. It's like, oh, bro, like it's a great shot. That whole scene. He's wearing like a little Speedo too. It's crazy. Yeah, I love James Bond. Junkrat, I've never known to have a thirsty, ravenous fan base. Sean Connery, James Bond is hot, yeah, but he loses points for raping people in movies. Let's be real. Junkrat is like F tier. Yeah, he's D tier. He's kind of a fun character to play. The man with the yellow hat, A tier. Top dog. The Weird Inventions video? My man, let's see. Not the most recent one, was it? I might have shown him in here again, but it was an older video that I had him in. It's definitely an old video. I showed Daniel Craig. What would it have been? I'm trying to remember. Like, was it the fashion video? Could it have been the fashion video? I know I make a joke about the hottest men in this video, like in the tier list of like the world's sexiest men, but it wasn't here. Fuck. When did I do that? I don't know. It's somewhere in here that I've done that. Anyway, maybe the inventions video I did it again. It's kind of crazy that I've gotten to the point where I'm actually forgetting what's in some of my videos now. That's kind of a red flag. Jim Carrey is one of my goats, and he does an amazing job playing Eggman. So he's gonna go. What am I in B tier? No, he goes. If fucking Adam Driver's in here, he's gonna go in A tier. I don't know what this thing is, but it's purple and that scares me. Unless the scaring is hot like Waluigi is, in which case he goes into B tier. Because that's cool. That's a cool scary. That's a scary that does it for me. Then we have, this is the bendy, wait, it's William Afton? Who's that? Should I know who that is? Five Nights at Freddy's? This is a FNAF guy? Main antagonist of the Five Nights at Freddy's. I thought it was the bear. You're telling me the bear isn't the bad guy? Co-founder of Fazbear Entertainment, founder of Afton Robotics. This is gonna be a whole rabbit hole I don't have time for. He created the bear. Okay, well, I guess that makes sense. Scott Games series. I thought it was just called the FNAF series. No, I do not want to support you. Fuck out of here. Anyway, I don't have time for this. I don't know who he is though, really. He killed a lot of kids. Okay, well that puts him in B tier at least. We got, I don't know what that is. The bendy guy I've seen pictures of. I don't really know anything about him. We got wait, Daniel Craig is hot. I grew up with the Pierce Brosnan films, though literally never saw the one with Haley Berry, Die Another Day. Yeah. I mean, they're all hot. There's fucking James Bond actors. Like, what are we? We're ranking like 9.9 versus 9.8. Sorry, messaging someone. This is from the Corpse Bride 2, right? I like the animation style. I'll put him in C tier. His name is Sans. I'm pretty sure. Yes. Yeah, I think it's Sans, but I don't like how he has his fucking hands in his jacket pocket like he thinks he's hot shit. Jack Skellington, I fucking know who Jack Skellington is. I don't put him. I'll put him in C tier. I'm a fake fan. I can't pretend to like him. So I don't really like this guy. Okay, this is someone who's never played these games. I just think he thinks he's hot shit. Sans is hot shit. No, he's not. Dude, you don't have like this little shit-eating grin with your hands in your little hoodie pockets like, I'm actually the bad guy. That's the twist. The twist in this game is that I'm the bad guy. Fuck out of here, dude. It's fucking lame. This is a completely ignorant take, by the way. Just please keep that in mind if you like this game in Sans. I literally know nothing else about the game other than that he's the bad guy and he has a cool theme. He's not bad. So I literally know nothing about this game. But he thinks he's hot shit, and I hate this picture. I just hate this picture. That's it. I just hate the picture, okay? Give me a break. Fuck him. Venom has a huge tongue. Like, do we need to talk about that? Phantom of the Opera is one of the best musicals of all time. He goes in the S tier. Reigen Arataka is the #1 person on this list by a mile. I'm sorry, Wheatley, but Reigen Arataka... Oh. Mob Psycho is one of the best shows of all time, one of the best pieces of fiction of all time, and Reigen Arataka is one of the best characters of all time, and he's so fucking cool and awesome and hot, and I am in love with him. I'm in love with this show. I've watched it so many times, and I show it to all my friends that I can. Highly recommend. I actually would totally like make a whole video talking about why I think but Mob Psycho is an incredible show, and it inspires me. I'm not joking right now. It actually inspires me in my writing and in my plans for future shows that I want to write. So he's got a very special place on this list and is easily an S tier character. You stink. Get the fuck out of here. You're literally named after a pastry. What the fuck? What show? Never heard of it. It's called Mob Psycho 100. Enjoy some Daniel Craig real quick. It's an anime, and it's pretty short. It's about this kid with Esper powers, and Reigen is his like mentor, who's also like a false psychic. Like he doesn't actually have any psychic abilities, and he's a scammer. So he's like basically using Mob, who is an actual psychic, to do exorcisms for him. When he can't, and is pretending to teach him. But they have an amazing dynamic, and it's a really good show. So I highly recommend it. And it's a great show that if you haven't seen any anime, which was me up until a few years ago, really, I would recommend it as a starting one. The It Clown, I know his name. It's Pennywise, right? I don't like his head. We have, oh my god, I know his name, fuck. Oh, fuck, I know his name, fuck, it's, god damn it. Robbie Rotten, thank you. Robbie Rotten is an S tier. He's the GOAT. He's also just a great guy, the actor that passed away, sadly, like, what, a decade ago now, from, I believe, a cancer of some sort. I'm not sure, I don't remember, but, just very, very sad. Very great character. Sorry, getting a phone call. S tier easily. This is oh my god, I'm blanking on everything. He's the radio guy from Hazbin Hotel. It starts with an A. Starts with an A. It's Alistar. I was thinking Alucard. I'm like, it's not Alucard. Um, I love Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss. A big reason is because it's a YouTuber that is succeeding in the field of animation. Um, and that always puts a smile on my face, and that inspires me. So I love it. I'm always gonna love these YouTuber shows because it's just like, hell yeah, it's cool to see. Um, and he's a cool character. I love his voice. So I'm gonna put him. I'm gonna put him in. I'll put him in B tier. I think that's fair. I don't like think about him often, but he's pretty cool. Oh shit! This is Oh my god, I can't remember any names. I'm so bad, especially when it comes to My Hero. This is Oh fuck. Hold on. My Hero teacher name. Oh, Shoto Aizawa. Yes. Eraserhead is his hero name. I watched the show with a friend. It's kind of okay. But he is one of the best characters in the show. I think he's sick as fuck, so he's gonna go in the B tier. The fish guy from Breath of the Wild. So the perks when fucking a fish guy is that they're usually pre-lubed. So that's nice. I think that at least gets him C tier. What is this? Is this like from the Lorax movie? Or Horton Hears a Who? It looks like that art style. Oh no, that's like a Lorax tree. I don't know who this is. But the Lorax is my favorite Dr. Seuss book. I don't know who this specific individual is, though. This is the Onceler? Bro, that's not the Onceler I know. The Onceler, okay. The book Onceler is goated because you only see his arm. What the hell is this? The Onceler book. This is the one. When I think the Onceler, I think of this shit. I don't like that they showed what he looks like. I liked that he was like just arms. Because this is not from the book. This is like a fan drawing. The Onceler in the Lorax was so cool because you never got to see him. He was kind of like an enigma. It was sort of like an allegory for industrialization, sort of like this mystical figure of mass industrialization, and I thought that was so cool, and I thought it really lended to the narrative. Why the fuck do they show what he looks like? That kind of, and why is he like 12? Now it takes it from feeling like it's some, evil mastermind of reaping resources to some zoomer who's like in on the grind culture. Like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, I remember watching the movie forever ago. I don't remember the Onceler though, but just because this guy, if it's this iteration of the Onceler ruining that mystique for me, he goes into F tier. I'm sorry. Jack Frost. I know girls go crazy for him. I have never seen it. But guys with ice powers are cool, so I guess he'll get into D tier. Don't Starve guy, I can't rank him. I just don't know any of those. He's got horns, F tier, lame. He's a triangle. It's just okay, no. Triangles are the strongest geometric shape from an engineering standpoint, he can be a very strong bottom. But Bill Cipher is his name. I haven't watched the show. People are like, oh, he's so evil. Tier list of the most evil people. Bill Cipher, #1. Dude, he's a triangle. How evil can he be? Fucking lame. Get the fuck out of here. Is he wearing a COVID mask? I don't know who this guy is. I don't know. People thirst over. Dude, someone looks at this and is like, that's my Tumblr husband? What? Who's this? That's not from Hell of a Boss, is it? I don't know. Wait, no, this is like Hollow Knight, right? I haven't played Hollow Knight yet, so I'm gonna put him in. I don't know. This is Kokichi from Danganronpa 3. Oh yeah, for those of you who don't know, we're just quickly doing a Tumblr sexy men tier list before I start the director's commentary. He's also basically like this guy Nagito, but in the third game. G-Man, S tier. I love a man who's got good business instinct. Um, is this Markiplier? I really can't tell if that's Markiplier. I mean, this is Tumblr. It's got to be Markiplier, right? Markiplier's cool. Confirm whether or not this is Markiplier. I'll put him in A tier. This is a turtle or a lobster. It's Darkiplier. Awesome. This is a crustacean, which are famously crusty, so F tier. I don't know what this is. It looks like a rock with a hat, and I don't know who that is. Okay, that's the tier list, the Tumblr sexy man tier list. Is there anything I'd adjust? I was like, why do I have him up here? But I remembered he kills kids, so that's pretty goated. This guy's a jet, that's pretty goated. I think of anything. I don't know, it's because he's Johnny Depp. I put him up there. Yeah, okay. King Dice isn't. No, Rubber Hose is fuckable. That's why. I keep remembering my reasoning for these placements. Yeah, I think that's pretty okay. Megamind is so low. I just haven't seen it. I'd be a fraud if I put him any higher. Anyway, welcome to the director's commentary, guys. So let's get into the actual meat and potatoes of the video. We wasted enough time doing that, but that was fun. Wait, Invader Zim? What? That's Zim? Oh wait, Automod is saying to allow or deny this message. Would you let any of them fuck you? I mean, everyone above C. It's the Tumblr sexy men tier list. You think I'm just doing this? You think I'm just like a poser? You think I wouldn't commit to fucking Venom or Plankton, the pill-sized man? Of course I would. Get the fuck out of here. Okay. Anyway, enough of being horny. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of my video. The Soda Wars. Yes. Okay. So, as we've seen, I am a year behind on director's commentaries. I have done just the Bone Wars out of these last, what, 8? So the reason I've taken so long to get to this is because this is my longest ever video on YouTube. It's like touching up here on 34 minutes. That was a nightmare to get done on time, let me tell you guys. But even still, having put in so much time and crunching so hard to get this video done, usually you'd expect it to be full of sacrifices and shortcuts to just kind of get to the finish line, but it still has ended up being one of my maybe top 3 videos I've ever made. Not just in terms of performance, which it did perform extremely well. As you can see, it has more views than a lot of the videos surrounding it, but also in terms of just my personal favorites. I really love the Cola Wars video. So like always, we start with going over the backgrounds and the thumbnails and whatnot. So this background here is one of my favorites that I did. It's one of those, backgrounds that you get to and as you're drawing it, you're like, okay, I'm drawing this background right now with the intention of this being the background in the thumbnail of the video. So I knew from the get-go this is going to be the thumbnail background. It has a nice, easily identifiable factory with the Pepsi Cola logo, really just hammering home what the topic of this video is. And then you have what looks like, a foreign country that is very tropical, because you don't really see that background and think, oh wow, that's the United States. No, this kind of screams, hey look, maybe we're exploiting a third world country. And so that's kind of like the message I wanted to get going here, because this is the Philippines is where this background is from in terms of the context of the video. So that's kind of what I wanted to get at with this thumbnail. Yeah, I think it's one of my better ones out of all of them. I'm really proud of it. There are other ones too that I really love, like the Wild West video. I think is really nice because it has a different color scheme than most of my backgrounds, which tend to have a lot of blues and greens because nature is typically the background I use. But this has orange, and that's pretty nice. The radiation in a nutshell background is one of my favorites too, although it didn't perform that well compared to the other videos around it. As you can see, it has less views. I like the Weird Trends background a lot too, because it has a little hermitage, and I think that's fun. But yeah. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump into the video. First things first, though, I'm gonna need to make sure everything is sized in a way that I'm not, you know, taking up, or I'm not blocking anything with like the chat window. Hold on, let me just, nope, that's not it. Move this guy, come on. What am I grabbing? I'm grabbing something that's in the way. I gotta move over the screen a little bit so I can see it. How do I do that easily? Oh man, I hate OBS. Have I ever talked about how much I fucking hate this? There we go. Okay. Now you can see the screen. And now I have to move my dog, who is in the way. Sorry, Mango. Let's get my co-host into a more comfortable spot. And let's get rid of, nope, not that one. Get rid of that one. And then I gotta grab me, and I gotta move me up. Where is me? Oh my god. There it is. Holy shit. I'm so bad at titling some of these things. Okay. Going up. There we go. Now we're properly spaced and all happy campers. Okay, so how to start a soda company. So just before we get started here, this was, at the time, considered, for me, a really risky intro. And also, just going in, like, before we get started here, I will be very bad at replying to all the chats, so just make sure you send your questions in, and I will try to get to them at the time I am done, you know, going over the video, because up until then, I'm going to be pretty locked into just yapping to the void here in my office. Okay, so this intro at the time, when I wrote this, which was a little over a year ago now, was kind of considered an experimental intro. Up until this point, I hadn't done many like very cinematic, original storytelling things, because you know, I wanted to make YouTube videos where I get to the meat and potatoes of the topic, and I didn't know if, you know, trying to do like a completely original story for like a few minutes would keep people engaged for long enough to actually get to the topic of the video. So it's not until like I get to like over 4 minutes in, almost 5 minutes, that I'm actually starting to talk about fucking soda companies. But this is all part of kind of my overall strategy when it comes to content creation. I love when it comes to my videos, what I consider to be what I do best is storytelling, just comedic writing, and building out like the lore of my channel and whatnot. Mostly storytelling, because my long-term goal, as I've said a few times, is to write and produce my own original show, and put it out on YouTube, or maybe, you know, a streaming service like Netflix, if that were ever to materialize in such a way. So what I wanted to do was kind of test the waters, right? I wanted to see if I were to try to start a video with just my own original story, even for as simple as this ends up being, would people be interested? Would that be something that people would stay engaged for and actually enjoy? And it was a massive success. From the performance of the video, which I know it doesn't have the most views on my channel, but the way you compare videos on YouTube is at the same point in time after posting compared to your previous videos. So when I posted this, you know, right now it's been out for a year. Right now it's comparing the views of this video after a year compared to all my other videos after a year. So while you have some videos on my channel that have a ton of views, like the Victorian video or the Wild West video, they didn't get 5 million views in like 30 days. It took it 4 years to get 5 million views, 3 years to get 4.6 million views. these videos take time to get these many views, and what the type of videos I make are evergreen. They're not topical like a Philip DeFranco video where you have to watch it that day, and then after that it's just kind of dead media. You don't really go back and seek out his older videos. But a RedJay video is something that is designed to be entertaining at any point in time years down the line. So these videos garner views over time, and basically what I'm trying to say is, while it doesn't have the most views, it is, I think, still my best performing video on my channel. It has gotten to almost 2 million views faster than any other video, and that means that this experiment of mine, making my own original written intro to a video, was quite the success and gave me a lot of confidence moving forward that, yeah, maybe I can start to dip my toes into future projects like writing a pilot episode of an animated series or creating just animated shorts, not about anything educational, but just kind of comedic skits for fun, which is stuff that I've been working on for a while now and hopefully will materialize in the future for you guys to see. But anyway, let's just watch I'm going to play just the beginning segment here, and then I'll go back and talk about various things that I notice. Today's the day, Alex. You think I'm ready, Doc? I know you're ready, son. Come on. I don't know if I can trust myself out there, Doc. What if I'm terrified of... God, I'm still insane. You're not insane, my boy. You're human. One that has experienced far more trauma than any should. And as humans, we manifest our own unique ways to cope with excess stress. Yours, of course, being vivid avian hallucinations. I know this. I know. You're a smart boy. You've heard all this already. But it's important that in our darkest moments we remind ourselves of what we know to remain calm. And what do we know, Alex? That I'm strong, yes. That I am in control, yes. And that there's no such thing as giant omnipotent bird demigods. You're ready. Susan, help Alex check out, would you? Thank you. For everything. You did all the work, Alex. I just handed you a wrench. I'll see you again soon for our checkups, alright? Right, of course. Alright, honey, I'll just need you to sign right here. Sure thing. $123,000! Is this right? You needed a lot of help. A lot of help that your insurance deemed non-essential. No, this can't be right. Surely there are some discounts for extended stays or fees that can be waived, or perhaps some charges that can be forgiven. That's quite a bit of medical debt you got there, Alex. Yeah! No, the pills! Give me the pills! Oh, how I've missed you, buddy. You can't be here! You're not supposed to be here! I miss my good old pal's release day from the psych ward. I would never. And good thing I didn't, because that's a pretty penny you owe there, Alex. But hey, while 123K sounds like a lot, Coca-Cola makes that much every 1 minute and 25 seconds. Cool! I don't own Coca-Cola! No, but you do own Alexi-Cola. LLC. No more adventures. Can I just do some kind of payment plan? We also accept payment in the form of organs and/or firstborn children. I own the hospital, Alex. Just kill me. Later. But first, we're gonna dive into the propaganda-driven, diabetes-given, controversy-ridden history of the soft drink business to teach you how to run a soda company. Yay. Okay, the whole time I was looking through my notebook to get some pictures ready to talk about here. Okay, so that was a lot, right? That was 2.5 minutes of me doing some original intro with almost nothing to do with the actual topic of the video. So I was nervous. I was really scared when I went with this video idea, and I thought, shit, I might just kind of like kill my YouTube channel with this. But you know what? It's about taking risks sometimes. I mean, I didn't think it would kill the channel. It's really not all that out there, but it's different, you know? Their biggest concern is like, this kind of is a big lore moment, and not just a lore moment for you guys, but like for a newcomer that hasn't seen my channel before. They might be like, who the fuck is this Alex guy? Why is he in a psych ward, and why is there a bird that's freaking him out? And that that was, you know, all the things you have to consider when it comes to making something like this. Because, you know, if a new viewer is so confused, they might just click off, and that would kill the performance of the video, and then that ends up killing the performance of the video and killing the channel's momentum. Sorry, I'm yapping while trying to get something ready here. Okay, so because I wanted this to be kind of the cinematic experience, I ended up doing some storyboarding and everything. So this is, as you can see, back in January of 2025, this video came out in March, so it was a few months beforehand. I had been doing this storyboarding process. So I had like, next video is how to start a soda company, and Alex is finally getting out of the psych ward after being there since the end of the Cold War video. And so like this was supposed to be a frame here where it's gonna be the panning down sun, and ended up drawing it in. But then I have, you know, the knocking, the guy appears in frame. I have the note here. The door swings open, and you see Alex sitting there at the end of the bed. And we can see all of these frames realized here in the beginning of the video. You know, you have the panning down here. And then you see I just thought it was really funny to have it be in Toledo, Ohio. There's no other reason for that. Then you see like that frame here being realized. I think that's pretty similar. I think the hallway was longer than my original plan, but I ended up going with this. And then the door swinging open. And that took a lot of work to do, because these are all individually drawn frames. Some of them are just transformed, but some of the door frames are newly drawn here as I'm opening up this door. It took a lot of work to, you know, it's a unique perspective that you don't often see in my videos, of a door, like something moving away from the screen. And then you have to have the doorknob here rotating too, to look like it's following the right perspective. It was kind of annoying to do, but you know, it's kind of worth it to get that cinematic feel. But then yeah, you can see how that matches up here with that frame, and the sun in the background, and the birds in the window. And then you have like the doctor doing "Today's the day, Alex." And I ended up changing his design.
Today's the day, Alex.
For my original plan, which was going to be, you know, like having the reflective headwear item here. I had considered drawing him like that because I wanted him to look very old school doctory. But the reason I decided against it was just because the different perspective changes. At the end of the day, this was going to be my longest video to date. I knew I needed to make this intro fast. The intro for the video I actually saved till the very end of the animation process. Basically, I wanted to see, once I'm done with the rest of the video, how long would I have to really invest time into a unique intro. That's kind of what I do when I do videos with more special intros. I save it for last, because then I can know, all right, well, how much time can I waste trying to make this as over the top as possible, or putting as much effort in as I can. And because I would have to draw that little headpiece in multiple angles, because later on he's walking down the hallway, I ended up deciding against doing that. And then yeah, after that you just have this conversation here. But that's pretty much what I had for like the storyboarding to kind of get my idea. The rest of what I have written here in my journal for where it comes to the soda company is I had a lot of the planning for the video. This is such a big undertaking that I had to break down all my topics to really figure out the structure of the video. But that's for after the intro. Right now we're talking about the intro. The other thing that was unique with this intro is the music. I actually, oh man, I put all these sources. I sourced music from YouTube's like in-system music feature, where I had to actually purchase a track, because it was really important to get the right music for this intro to really capture, you know, like that emotional weight. Because if you like I said, Alex hasn't been seen at this point since the Cold War video. It's been a hot minute. It's been that was 1, 2, 3, 4 videos without Alex, and people at this point in time were just commenting all over my videos like, where's Alex? What happened to Alex? Is Alex okay? Is he alive? But I make a joke about him like going to the psych ward at the end of the Cold War video because of all of the murders that he witnessed. So this was the grand return. I wanted to make it theatrical and really help basically build the lore, which I've talked about a few times in these director's commentaries. One of the pillars that I have for what makes a BlueJay video is that each video, in some way, shape, or form, sometimes it's small, sometimes it's significant, is expanding the lore of the channel. So that's the big piece of this video. Is it's a big chunk of lore. You get to see a lot about this world outside of all of the history stuff that we typically cover. You see a lot about how the BlueJay world works, how like the explanatory world works, which is what I call like the different levels of worlds that are in my videos. So it's rather unique.
You think I'm ready, Doc? I know you're ready, son. Come on.
I love the little head nod. It's great.
I don't know if I can trust...
Yeah, I saw someone pointed out in the chat, the parallaxing here was kind of a pain in the ass. I don't know if you can notice it, but I'm terrified of... Basically, there are times where in the background here, I'm like stitching together the same copy and paste of a window that's kind of like going over the background. So I have... The way that I set this up in Premiere is... I had 4 different video layers. The top layer here is just these two walking and talking, and I had that just with everything in the background transparent. And actually, I might have had another layer on top of it. I think I had a layer of just their legs moving, because those are the same looping animation here of them walking, and then like their faces and their arms change. So I will have like those on top, and then I have, you know, a layer of their faces. Below that layer is this big hallway with these doors, and then there's transparency behind the glass here, where you see the final layer of just like the interior of the rooms that are inside all these psych ward doors. And then of course I wanted to right here. As humans, we manifest our own unique way. It was important to me, like, while I wanted to have this very emotional, like, tension-building scene, I still thought it was important to throw in a bit of humor before it got too sad and too confusing. So that's why I decided to throw in that little bit there of a guy just fucking tweaking out like he's losing his fucking mind. I thought that was kind of funny. That was fun to animate, too. It took me a few tries to get the exact jerking movement that I wanted. As humans, we manifest our own. Because it's kind of hard sometimes to do really quick movements in a way that feels funny. Quick movements are easy, obviously. It takes less frames. It's typically harder to do slow movements when it comes to animation. But to do quick movements in a way that is really funny is kind of an art in and of itself. And you see that kind of stuff a lot in like Smiling Friends animations, or like Psychic Pebbles, Zach, that from Smiling Friends, like his YouTube channel. He's really good at like quick movement humor when it comes to his animations, and it's something that I've been trying to learn and get better at. But I think I did a pretty good job of that there. Unique ways to cope. But yeah, I really like the hallway scene here. You're a smart boy. You've heard all this already. But it's yes, thing is giant, omnipotent. Check out, would you? Thank you. For everything. You did all the work, Alex. So good. I just handed you a wrench. The hug was very important. I wanted it to feel like Alex has hope. He's healing. He's growing as a person. The future is all up for him. See you again soon for our checkups, all right? Right, of course.
All right, honey. I'll just need you to sign right here.
Sure thing. $123,000. Yeah, we saw all this, but yeah. So then BlueJay.
Is this right? Screen. You needed a lot of help. A lot of help that your insurance deems non-essential.
No, this can't be right. Surely there are some discounts for extended stays, or fees that can be waived, or perhaps some charges that can be forgiven.
That's quite a bit of medical debt you got there, Alex. So, what got me excited about this video is that a lot of people in the comments were discussing the lore implications of the intro. Oh, thank you, Joko, for the $10 donation. By the way, I'll make sure I call him out. I don't know if you can see his name there, right in the comments here. He was a super chatter. Always appreciate the support you guys give me. But basically, there were people kind of like speculating the lore of the world. And I've said this before in my videos. I like to kind of be a little hands-off when it comes to people's explanations. I don't want to like say what's correct. I don't want to tell people what's right too often, because I have my own intentions when it comes to making the lore. I have my own thought process, but I don't consider my opinions to be facts. I mentioned this before, I believe, in a Darkest commentary. I want to make a whole video on why it's important to ignore the artist when it comes to consuming a piece of art. So often you'll see people talk about like a piece of media, and someone is like, oh yeah, I watched this scene and it made me feel this way because I thought it was saying this as its message. And then you'll have some fucking, dipshit 79 at google.com comment like, actually, if you watch the interview from Comic-Con number 7, he said that it was actually this. And then kind of like throws this person's entire experience out the window in theory and everything. And that's not how art is supposed to work. It's not supposed to be an objective experience. Now, of course, there's like certain things that obviously are different, like the fact that, Luke Skywalker has a blue lightsaber in the first movie. Like, that's just a matter of fact. That's not an opinion. But when it comes to, like, interpretations of things is what I'm talking about. Interpreting art is supposed to be a personal experience. It's not supposed to be an objective experience. Everyone has their own interpretation. Art affects everyone differently. And for me, that applies also to world building and lore to an extent. People were debating the implications of this scene, specifically with this lady here. Blue Jay comes on board, Alex freaks out, but the lady looks pretty non-phased. Now, some people say that it's because Blue Jay here is just a figment of Alex's imagination. Others think that the lady here is just kind of used to Blue Jay because Blue Jay says he owns the hospital. I have an opinion as to, my intention behind the scene, but I don't consider my opinion to be fact. So I just I like to leave that interpretation up to you guys because it's more fun for me. And I think it's more fun for you guys too, at the end of the day. It's not fun when someone comes through and just wrecks what you believe. But yeah, that was a fun debate to see unfold a lot. But yeah, the fact of the matter is, Alex here is freaking out. She is not freaking out. Interpret that with what you will. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the intro of the video. I introduced the soda company. And yeah, let's keep going.
Off drink business to teach you how to run a soda company.
Oh shit, wait. I'm so sorry, guys. I forgot a note. One thing that I do in my script sometimes is I write little notes to remember to talk about when it comes to the time for the director's commentary. And holy shit, this is a long note that I wrote over a year ago. So let's see if I regret any of this verbiage here. I think it was right here that the line was.
123K sounds like a lot.
Because that's a pretty penny you owe there, Alex.
But hey, while 123K sounds like a lot,
Coca-Cola makes that much every 1 minute and 25 seconds.
So that line right there is the central theme of the video, essentially. And it harkens back to what I've said in past director's commentaries, that my goal with this channel is, one of the biggest goals of my channel is to educate and inform. To help my viewers grow as people and improve by delivering messages through, educational storytelling that allows people who may not have been open to a blunt conversational approach be more perceptive to important messages by using humor in wacky skits, right? I've talked about that with some of my past videos where I will cover a lot of, sensitive topics, in terms of like political sensitivity or just, dark topics. Like in this episode, we're talking about like the dangers of late game capitalism and what greedy corporations can really be capable of when the bottom line is on the line. And I believe that there is room in the world for people that make very upfront and explicit educational videos explaining why Coca-Cola doing some of these things and having too much of a profit motivation is bad for the world. But I'd also believe that there are a lot of people that don't like hearing what they think is good is actually bad so bluntly. So I think there is room for people like me whose job is to try to share information in a way that isn't lecturing, and is kind of leading you to conclusions that you can make that are maybe different from your current established point of view. And I think what really opens people up to stuff like that is comedy, lighthearted jokes, dark humor. Stuff like that is really useful as a tool for education, I believe. So that's kind of like what the big goal with this video is, because it's a heavy theme. So I'm going to keep reading what I wrote here. So the subtext here is a commentary on the egregious problems in the economic and social environment that we live in, mostly in the United States. So Alex is receiving necessary psychological care for legitimate trauma that he has, that has an adverse effect on his life. Blue Jay here giving him very legitimate trauma. And insurance companies famously have a stigma when it comes to psychological care, where it is often seen as a luxury and not a legitimate health concern. It's not like a physical wound that literally needs to be healed to survive, and therefore it can be kind of tossed to the side more often than not. Therefore, his care is denied. He does not get coverage by his insurance, claiming it to be non-essential. A problem that many, if not most Americans can relate to, myself included. Healthcare issues affect everyone, or mental health issues, my bad. Now, this video isn't about the insurance industry, but it is about the evils that can frequently follow massive corporations in a endgame capitalistic society that seek ever-growing profit margins. So, to be clear, I'm not trying to say that I am like some big anarchist, anti-capitalist guy. I'm not trying to make some big claims about capitalism or communism and whatnot, socialism. That's not what I'm trying to do here. But I think it is honest and realistic to acknowledge that there isn't such thing as a perfect system and that every system has flaws. So that's what I'm trying to say here when I'm talking about the dangers of capitalism. I'm not saying that you have to, go overthrow every single corporation or whatever. But that's that's the topic I'm not prepared to discuss right now. So I'm not trying to make any big claims there is what I'm trying to say. By analogizing the mind-boggling amount of money that Alex owes in medical debt to the mind-boggling amount of money that companies are able to profit in parasitic ways, I'm essentially telling Alex that the only way to survive in the system is to not only contribute to it, but embrace it. Instead of fighting for meaningful change, Blue Jay tells Alex to become the system. Build a corporation that feeds on society. Pass your problem onto the less fortunate. And throughout the video, Blue Jay consistently, through funny and wacky commentary, shows why it is a bad thing. The message being delivered is how the flaws in our current system are self-feeding and self-destroying. Now, those themes sound really heavy, and if I were to make a more blunt video with those messages, in my opinion, the only people who would see such a video are the ones who already know this. Like I was saying before, a lot of people who don't believe in very tough, blunt topics like that tend to not want to consume that type of content. The algorithm does a good job of keeping people inside their echo chambers, essentially. So I'm trying to reach people who don't often think about the problems with ever-growing corporate profit margins or insurance companies. I'm trying to spoon-feed them ideas through entertainment where hopefully they can draw conclusions for themselves. Because that's what art is. Art isn't telling people what to think, like I was saying earlier, with things that are, less serious, like the interpretations of lore. it's showing them something for them to think upon. And of course, for the majority of people watching my videos, they're going to learn wacky and fun facts and hopefully have a good laugh and have a better day. In fact, that is still my primary goal with the channel, is to just make people laugh and entertain. Entertainment, making people happy. That's my primary goal. Giving people an escape. But even the funniest of movies plant the seeds of lessons in the viewers' heads. And so that's what I'm trying to do here, essentially. Anyway, that was a very long-winded explanation there, but...
Cool!
Yeah.
I don't own Coca-Cola!
No, but you do own Alexicola.
LLC. No more adventures! Can I just do some kind of payment plan?
We also accept payment in the form of organs and or firstborn children.
I own the hospital, Alex. Just kill me.
Later. But first, we're gonna dive into the propaganda-driven, diabetes-given, controversy-ridden history of the soft drink business to teach you how to run a soda company.
I can't turn on the video, I'm sorry. I had a feeling that was pretty loud.
First things first, I'm gonna...
Oh yeah, that's true. I drink a lot more Diet Pepsi after watching. It's really weird. I like watching this or reading about this topic. It just made me want more soda.
You to put on this little hat. Just real quick, come on.
Great. That animation was so fun to do, by the way.
Come on.
Great. The gears spinning, the little quick stab into the brain, and a little blood
I'm gonna need you to put on this little hat.
Just amazing.
Just real quick, come on.
One more time, I love it.
Great. What happened? Why do I smell purple?
Don't worry about it.
Say, Alex, do you remember your mother's name?
Of course I do. It's... RedJay, what did you do to me?
Nothing a little visit to today's sponsor, MyHeritage can't fix. MyHeritage is the leading platform for family history, and with access to over 33 billion records, it's an incredible tool for when I lobotomize you.
Which I will.
MyHeritage lets you uncover
Love that they let me say that, by the way. They're pretty chill over there.
long-lost ancestors, build your family tree, and learn family facts you never knew before, making it perfect for impressing everyone at family gatherings.
Hey, Grandma, did you know Great Aunt Betty was a renowned cobbler?
Oh, how wonderful. I never knew that, Billy.
Yeah, and she also smuggled PCP for the Latvian mafia and is believed to have remaining stashes amongst her relatives.
Oh dear.
FBI, don't move!
I'll be honest.
I love having skits in my sponsors because, I mean, obviously when it comes to sponsors in a video, it's so often that you can't really see with the white background here, but people skip over them, right? That's expected. You know, a good chunk of the audience is going to skip over the ad. But for those who do stick around, I like to add in bonus skits or bonus jokes that you would not have seen otherwise. So for those of you that do watch the ad or are watching the stream now, I hope you enjoy those little treats.
I wasn't expecting all that much at first. Seeing the Ellis Island immigration documents for my Italian family was cool, but as a history nerd, I've always been able to find that kind of stuff on my own. It wasn't until I started filling out my family tree on my mom's side that I was blown away by how much info MyHeritage was able to dig up with their instant discovery feature.
Yeah, at first, I believe they wanted me to show, like, most of the names up until like a certain point in the generations, and I was like, yeah, I don't really want to show my family tree's names to people because I'm currently an anonymous YouTuber, so that kind of defeats the purpose. But luckily they let me blur out basically everything.
In just a couple of minutes, it was able to show me my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, Robert Alcox, born a whole 15 generations back in England in 1516.
It is kind of crazy how much info you can dig up with this website, I'm not gonna lie. I did have a lot of fun. When I got sponsored by them, I spent like 2 full days where I was supposed to be writing, actually just digging through MyHeritage and finding a lot of info about myself. Like, I did not know I had an ancestor from fucking England. It's gross.
And in that same lineage, I found a relative who was one of the first inhabitants of the Plymouth colony in the 1600s, which was so cool that I temporarily overcame my depression from discovering that I have some English in me.
I'm also, like, I spent 2 full days doing this. That's not because this was hard to find. This was, like, immediately it just told me this. And I, like, verified it myself and everything. So it was actually kind of crazy. I'm not even sponsored by them right now. Like, I'm not saying this because they're paying me. I just actually did love using this service. I only ever accept sponsors that I think are good. And people will always have, you know, disagreements about some sponsors, and I always have people complaining for no matter what I'm sponsored by. But I like to make sure I do a pretty solid job vetting sponsors, and you have no idea how many I turn down. So just know that.
MyHeritage can also enhance, colorize, and do neat little animations with the family photos it digs up from your past. Just check out all these studs in their 4K glory. So if you too want to uncover your family story, MyHeritage is offering you a 14-day free trial. Just click my link in the description or pinned comment below to get started. Thank you, MyHeritage, for sponsoring the video. The first step to starting any great soda company is crafting the perfect recipe. Just as Picasso first needs his spark of passion before putting brush to canvas, so too does an aspiring soda entrepreneur first need his inspiration.
The other thing I'm noticing, and you might notice it now right in my live stream, this was, I believe, yes, this was my first video that I made in a new apartment, in the apartment that I'm in now. And this apartment has, like, this office, it's like, the ceiling is slanted with the roof, which is like, you know, it's kind of got like a little bit of a unique geometric shape, and so it goes like 12 feet high, so there's a lot of echo. Typically a room that's oddly shaped is good for acoustics because it means the sound is not going to get bounced very violently, it's going to disperse very well. But when you have like a bare room, which is what your room is like when you're moving in, you're going to have a lot of echo, and especially with high ceilings. So you can hear that in the audio. And what I've done for this video and what I've done for every video since is I bought this like privacy screen thing on Amazon, which is, you know, just like an unfolding thing that you like change clothes behind. And I draped a bunch of blankets over the side, and I draped a blanket over top of my like desk. So I like put myself in a little tent essentially, to serve as just like basic, you know, reverb reduction. It's not great acoustic control, as any acoustic engineer would tell you, because it's only, you know, blocking certain high frequencies, but it does the job for, you know, shitty YouTube audio. I'm still using like a $30 microphone that I got when I was a poor college kid. I'm not really the top of the line when it comes to audio, but you can hear it basically. I feel like that's a difference you hear in this video compared to other videos, is that there's more echo in the background. But, you know, I made do.
Any back alley addlepay can chuck a bunch of chemicals and fluids in a rusty jug of water and call it a soda.
That's a funny little double whammy, this scene right here. So any back alley addlepate, an addlepate, if you remember, is a term that I used in my rare slang video. So I like wanted to like bring back some stuff from this video, the absurd historical slang video. So if you remember from that video, an addlepate is like a foolish or a stupid person. And that's what that means. Any back alley addlepate, like any back alley fool, can, you know, make a soda. And also this guy here, this is a character from, I think, Full Metal Alchemist. Basically, for those of you who don't know, my Patreon, I have a tier where I am drawing, and I'm still working on it. This is, don't worry about that. It makes sense with context, I swear. Where's the, I don't ever look at it with this. Oh, there we go. The Predator Burb tier, I draw custom characters of my supporters in my art style, and this is the character that he requested, so I drew him like this. And then for the people that I draw when I get the chance to, I throw them in my videos as like background characters, so he got to enjoy being featured here.
That's how we get ginger ale after all. But only a true artist can concoct a recipe that decisively takes off, encapsulating society in a glycogenic fervor that shapes the face of culture for generations. Take John Stith.
That's actually, as you can imagine,
glycogenic fervor that shapes the face of culture for generations. Take.
Oh, I missed it again. I'm trying to pause at the right time. As you can imagine, with this video topic, there is a ton of stuff that did not make the cut for the video, and one of the topics or just like one of the like things that I wanted to make sure I called out was, I mean, just the absolute, worldwide sensational marketing that was this commercial here that, like, I forget the name of it, but it's like Coke is for everyone. It's a very, very, very famous commercial. Probably like one of the most famous commercials of all time. Basically just people from all cultures of the world uniting around drinking Coca-Cola, and it was a sensational ad that did wonders for Coca-Cola. They were already doing great, and this just helped skyrocket them further. So I wanted to make sure I found a way to like call that out in this video, because I didn't really have a good moment otherwise when it comes to the structure of the video to talk about it. So yeah, that's what I made sure to do here. And also, speaking of the structure of the video, so I had in my notebook here a bunch of topics that I wrote down, and my goal was to make sure I can organize this video in a way that it just feels like something that I would be able to possibly finish in a timely manner. So I broke up the steps of making a soda company into like what are like the big major steps? Like what would I have? So I have the different steps that I kind of concocted here is scaling, product improvement, propaganda / marketing, and community engagement. So obviously step one is what we're talking about now, the inspiration and crafting a recipe. And then I wanted to make sure, like, all these different topics and facts that I was able to find, I wanted to find a way to organize them under each of these different categories. And that took a lot of time. A lot of the research and writing for this video was just fucking organizing. It's hard to do when I mean, imagine the YouTubers like H-Bomber guy who make like fucking 4-hour videos. Imagine the organizing they have to do. This is just a 34 minute video, and I had to spend like a week in my notebook here writing down all the topics I came across, all the facts that I found intriguing for a RedJay video perspective, and putting them into one of these categories. And then finding out how to, weave together a narrative there. That's always another big challenge with these types of videos. They're rather open-ended. You have the types of videos that are like the Russian voyage video, where it's one story, or like the Bone Wars video here, where it's one story from start to finish. You just have to write the story in your own style. Versus how to start a soda company, that isn't a story. That is a massive topic, and you have to find a way to weave a narrative together with that topic. And that's the hard part of that's a daunting part of writing that I think pushes a lot of people off starting to get into writing or making their own YouTube videos. Is you want to talk about a topic, but then you're just like, well, how do I start? And it's hard. I get it. It is hard, but it really just comes down to sitting down and moving a pen. Once you start doing that, you find out what you like and what you don't like, and then you come up with ideas as you're going along. I just watched a clip from a Q&A of Zach Krieger, who is a former member of The Whitest Kids You Know, which is like a comedy sketch group, and also a now director of a lot of great famous movies that have been coming out, like Weapons recently, like a year or two ago. He was doing a Q&A for like some high school students where he talked about one of his best piece of writing advice is imagining you have a little elf, and this little elf is a stupid dumbass. Like, he's just bottom of the barrel IQ, completely incapable. He is just kind of there to puke out letters and move along, and that is his first draft, as he is pretending that he is this little elf. It does not matter if it is good. It is not expected to be good. It is expected to be bad, actually. You don't want it to be good. The goal of the elf is to just write. You don't care about grammar. You don't care about good dialogue. You don't care if things make sense. What is important is that you make progress. And through the process of doing that, what he discovered, and what I discovered through my own method, which admittedly wasn't as cool as an elf, is that you come across ideas that you end up loving. Things that you think, or you would like think intuitively that, oh, I should sit down and think for a good idea to come to me before I write. No. The good ideas come once you're writing. And I know that kind of seems counterintuitive. Like, how are you going to write about a good idea if you don't have it yet? Well, you don't. That's the point. Your first time writing or planning isn't good. It never is. That comes later. That comes with the polishing, with the second draft. And that's how I end up doing my stuff too. I just kind of start writing. One thing that I do, and one thing that is actually a Patreon perk every once in a while when I have enough of them, I have these where do I have it? I know I have it in collections, I believe. So I do these writing warm-ups. I think I have one of them as a free one. Maybe. One of them is free. I'm pretty sure. I can think I can filter. Can I filter by public? Do I have a free one? I thought I did. Maybe I don't. Okay, anyway. So basically what I do when I'm like feeling particularly stumped when it comes to writing, where I can't even just write some bullshit about my video, I will do what I did in my freshman year of high school literature, like honors literature class, where at the start of class every Monday, my teacher, Mrs. Gabbard, she was my one of my favorite teachers ever, probably my favorite teacher ever, actually. She just started a timer and just said, write for 5 minutes. It could be about anything. For a lot of people, it was just like what they did that weekend. For me, it was always the weirdest things I could think of. I wrote like this series every week about fruits versus vegetables, like this like war going on between fruits and vegetables. But basically the goal of the writing warm-up is that you start the timer and you start moving your fingers. It doesn't matter if things are spelled right. It doesn't matter if there's like a narrative or if anything makes sense. You're just trying to write down words. You're just trying to get comfortable with the idea of making progress. That is all that matters. And so like she would be satisfied if you just wrote the dictionary in order. It didn't matter. And that's what a writing warm-up is for me. So when I'm really stumped, I just start a timer and I try to write some like interesting new story, or like new idea or narrative or whatever. And sometimes I end up coming up with some really unique ideas. And one of those ideas is an idea I've been developing for 3 years now, into a pilot episode that I want to eventually produce. I want to hire animators and voice actors and the whole works. So it can be a really great practice and a great exercise, and that's something that is important to get comfortable doing when you want to get into any kind of creative endeavor. This works not only for writing but for drawing as well. Just draw some random bullshit. You want to get into playing guitar, play some random bullshit. It doesn't matter if you have a good song figured out. You just want to start trying. You want to make the movements. You want to get into the rhythm. And that's the goal there. So anyway, I've been yapping for a hot minute here. Let's get back to the laughing at the stupid soda people.
Take John Stith Pemberton, a wounded Confederate Civil War veteran who sought to cure his post-war morphine addiction by experimenting with various painkiller and toxin cocktails. A sentence that is littered with perhaps the most red flags I've ever seen.
So this was a little embarrassing. Every once in a while, it happens, like I want to say like 70% of the time, when I'm writing about a person, I almost never, I'm never really like doing research where I'm watching videos. My research is always reading and like books or articles and sources and whatnot. I that's how I do my research. So oftentimes I don't actually hear how something is pronounced. For some reason, I had been writing in my script John Smith Pemberton this whole time. And it wasn't until I had gotten done recording the video that I decided to double check things, because I always think like, oh wait, am I saying this person's name right? I want to make sure. And then I found out it's Stith, not Smith. So I had to go through and just record Stith a few times and stitch that into the audio where I said John Smith Pemberton. And it's another example. Just fucking cross your T's and dot your I's when it comes to research. The other problem is sometimes before I'll even get to recording, I find out the proper pronunciation of a character or a real life person's name And the whole time, while I'm like the month leading up to the point where I'm getting to recording, I've been doing all these cold reads, saying it the wrong way, that when it comes to actually record the name, I have to do away with that habit of saying the wrong name. And it always fucks up like a dozen takes of me doing voice lines. And I'm like, no, god damn it. It's not Mephistopheles, it's Mephistopheles. Like, you gotta like make sure you know what it is before you get to it.
Tails. A sentence that is littered with perhaps the most red flags I've ever seen. Like many an artist, Pemberton was inspired by another person's work, a French drink called Vin Mariani that he found to miraculously help with his morphine addiction. Which makes sense because he was drinking cocaine. Coined a coca wine due to the drink's ingredients being just coke and wine, Vin Mariani was touted as a patent medicine and came off the heels of the booming popularity of coca leaves and all their lovely brain tickles. Having found a magical alternative to the morphine and heroin-based concoctions on the market, our little Confederate was determined to sell some coca wine of his own. I'm telling ya, this is gonna be huge. All I need is one of them patents.
Well, that's the thing, John. The point of a patent is that you can't just sell the same thing another person made.
Oh, come on. The French aren't people.
They most certainly are.
Really?
Yes.
Oh. Well, it's not the same thing.
It's not.
No.
Holy shit.
To give it a little care.
I love the delivery of that holy shit. That sometimes like an entire skit hinges on the delivery of one line. Okay, so that it's another skit of haha French people bad, which is unfortunately a joke I can't make anymore because Expedition 33 is one of my favorite games ever. It's too good. I have to love the French now. It's just canon that they're based now, and it sucks. I can't joke about the French because that game's too good. God damn it. They got a dub over me. This little skit here, actually, I'm just now realizing, a future video that isn't out by the time this aired, the Absurd Inventions That Should Not Exist video, that was originally titled Morally Questionable Patents, and the whole idea for that was, I believe, this skit here where I'm talking about like the patent process of Coca-Cola and him trying to patent his drink when there's already a patent for, Vin Mariani, which is the same thing. And so yeah, that ended up getting me interested, and my friend, who's a lawyer, suggested too doing a video on all the crazy patents that are out there. So I ended up doing that in the future, but that's kind of where the idea spawned. Also, this background here, is this original? I can't remember. I think that might be an original. I thought that was a reused background, but now I'm thinking about it, I think I just reused this background later. This like Atlanta background. Yeah, anyway.
No.
Holy shit.
To give it a little character of its own, Pemberton took this devil's dandruff cocktail and chucked in a few cola nuts for caffeine, calling it Pemberton's French Wine Coca, a quote, great and sure remedy for all nervous disorders. And he meant all of them, whether it was nerves in the brain or nerves in the bed. Pemberton's French Wine Coca was sure to set not only your mind straight, but your cock as well. Now, did he...
There's some passages of a script that just put a smile on my face because it like scratches that perfect brain inch of like, oh yeah, this has all the right number of syllables. It flows beautifully. It has some alliteration. It has some rhyming a little bit. It just is great, and it has a nice little word play at the end, setting not only your mind straight but your cock as well. And there's a word for that. Oh man, there's a word for that. I always forget the name of this type of liturgical or literary device. It's like a device. Let me Google it. You're like listing things, and then like one of the things you list has a different meaning than the original meaning for the things that predate it in the list. What's it called? Fuck. Is it a zeugma? Is that what I'm thinking of? A literary device in which a single word, usually a verb or adjective, governs, modifies, or links two or more words in a sentence. Let me see an example of a zeugma. Or am I thinking of something else? I left my heart in my suitcase in San Francisco. Yeah, I think that might be what I'm thinking of. Let me see. Look up Zeugma examples. I want to make sure I got this right. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He lost his keys and his patience. Set not only your mind straight, but your cock as well. So it's kind of like the verb of straight, or like setting straight, the overall like action there applies figuratively to the brain, but literally to his penis. So that is a zeugma, and I keep on forgetting what that is called, a zeugma. So I love when I'm able to use zeugmas. I'm trying to remember that in my scripts. I really need to make sure I got that down, because I always forget that. It's like it's my favorite literary figure of speech, and it is one that I always forget the name of.
Come to these conclusions after rigorous experimentation and the application of the scientific method? No, but he didn't need to waste time on...
Oh yeah, that's another thing. I always had, as someone with a STEM background, I have a pet peeve when it comes to just like these random stock images of science, but sometimes it's a little annoying to have a white background on the screen for too long, so I have sciencebs.jpg, and this is like a little bit that you'll see recurring in the video every time I throw in some science pictures. I'll have like a new little .jpg name down here.
In the application of the scientific method? No, but he didn't need to waste time on petty cocaine research. Why, the famous Sigmund Freud made such claims himself. And when was he ever wrong or sexually attracted to his mom? So you're telling me... Wait, what was that last part? No time for that. Okay.
That's
so
another
you're
video
telling
topic.
me that they just let adults get blasted off coke wine? No, of course not. The children could too, but don't worry, they were only recommended half the dose, and no one had a problem with this. Actually, Alex, some people did. In fact, cocoa wines were banned in Atlanta shortly after Pemberton's debut. Oh, thank God. As you should. After all, only sinners drink alcohol. So after Atlanta passed prohibition in 1885, Pemberton swapped out the problematic alcohol for a boatload of sugar and called it Coca-Cola. Cool.
That picture right here, if you remember, I believe that's the exact same one that I used I've used this like little table thing a few times. In the Cold War video, when they're the Acoustic Kitty Project, I use this as like the operating table where the scientists are performing surgery on a cat to implement a microphone underneath its skin. This is a reused asset here. But yeah, like this whole topic is just pretty ludicrous. Like they, the reason the recipe was changed was not because of the presence of cocaine, it's because of the presence of alcohol, which, to be fair, is another bad drug, but still, it's just kind of funny thinking about it from our, current perspective.
And swapped out the problematic alcohol for a boatload of sugar and called it Coca-Cola. Cola for the cola nut extract, and coca for the fact that it still very much so contained cocaine.
Also, I really miss, ads like this. Like, look how pristine and clean this looks. You won't see this shit today. Do you know, like, living in a city and walking around, I keep on seeing an increasing number of just like AI generated ads for businesses, or just straight up AI logos for businesses, and it's a shame. Look at what we had. This is a fucking painting. This is a work of art that someone made. That's nuts. And this is also a drawing of, I believe this is one of the first celebrities. I could be wrong there, but celebrity culture was kind of becoming a thing during the early years of Coca-Cola. And I know that like some of the first ever celebrities are some of the earliest advertisers for Coca-Cola too. That was a big, strong push for them.
And thus, an American staple was born. Great, well, cocaine is illegal, and I'm not a morphine-addicted Confederate, so I'm not sure how any of this applies to me. You may not have a physical wound to exploit yet, but according to your medical file that I bribed an intern for, you are just riddled with depression and anxiety. So let's just throw a Xanax in your soda and call it a day. Now that you've got a product to sell, it's time to move on to step 2 for starting a soda company. Propaganda, or as companies put it to make it more palatable, marketing. While you might think this is something only done by a company with an ad budget, marketing, or the...
Speaking of AI and propaganda and marketing, that's currently a very big push right now for Coca-Cola is, AI generated advertisements. I believe they had an entire Super Bowl ad completely AI generated. which is just like, dude, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, Coke is like known for being the advertising kings. People just straight up like Coke because of their advertising, and they don't care. They know that they're, you know, being marketed to, but they're like, fuck it, I don't care. Those polar bears are cute. And now they've just kind of tarnished everything. Like, I personally have stopped buying Coca-Cola stuff for my fridge at home. I just get like Diet Pepsis now instead of Diet Cokes, which is the only soda I drink. I mean, it's not really like some giant political statement. Like, I'm not like, yeah, I'm sticking it to Coca-Cola. They're gonna feel this in their wallet. It's just because it kind of tastes better. I'm not gonna lie. Canned Diet Pepsi is superior to canned Diet Coke. Now, fountain Diet Coke is superior to fountain Diet Pepsi. I can't lie. It is just a little better. But canned Diet Pepsi is better. It just is. I don't care if you think I'm stupid. It's just right. On this channel, Blue Jay is right. And he always will be. So just know. Just know.
The act of getting one's message out there is one that we all
Also, like, look at this, dude. Look at this painting of Santa Claus. Like, Coca-Cola had a pretty big role. It not like the biggest role. I think it's a little overblown in a lot of the stuff you see online. They had a big role popularizing our current depiction of Santa Claus and Saint Nick with the red coat and the white beard. Because, like, look at fucking masterpieces like this work of art here. This is such a great drawing. This is a great ad. I want to drink Coke. I want to get as fat as this chud right here drinking Coca-Cola. Ho, ho, ho. Give me presents of just packs of Coke right now. That's all I want, baby. Shove it in my chimney. I'll have truckloads of this shit because of this ad. And then they were like, cool, what if the polar bear was made by computer? Like, what are you doing? You were on top. You were the king of the world when it comes to advertising. And you're like, nah, let's just throw all that clout and charisma out the window because, dude, it's efficient in the future. Oh, it's just so disappointing. God, sometimes you just want to root for, like, bloodthirsty capitalism, and you just can't. You just can't now. Like, they had to ruin it. They had everything. God damn it.
Participated on a daily basis. Even something as simple as thanking people for their support can come with an underlying motive, like maybe you want to praise the viewer as well. I
fucking hate Elon Musk. I'm sorry. Every once in a while, I like to throw in jabs. I think at this point in time, I was like, okay, I've thrown in so many jabs at Elon Musk in these past videos, but he's just he's so easy to make fun of. He just sucks so hard. God, like how do you like live with yourself when you're him? Genuinely, like, God, just like, it's so embarrassing how he does everything in his life. I just can't imagine thinking you're the shit when you are like that. I don't know. Anyway, that's just such a funny thing to make fun of, like that whole like that's obvious for those of you who don't know. If you somehow don't know, Elon Musk was speaking at a was it a Trump rally, or was it the a Republican convention, or was it maybe his like the nomination or his inauguration of Trump? I don't know. It was some Trump right-wing bullshit, and he like did what really looked like a Nazi salute. That's all that's been talked about to death. I'm not here to do that, but it's just very funny. Like, whether you believe it was actually a Nazi salute or not, that's not what I'm here to talk about. It really looked like one. Like, dude, like the fucking lip bite.
Their support can come with an underlying motive, like maybe you want to praise the viewer.
Like, come on, there's so much passion behind that. Like, this is him saying, like, my heart goes out to you, and he just, like, fucking shoots his arm out there, like, in the perfect little my fewer way. It's so crazy. Like, I don't know how you do that. Like, how do you accidentally do that? It's so funny to me. It's crazy. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not, it's just, I'm specifically talking about just the absurdity of it. The absurdity of this whole event that happened. It's just so crazy to me. And the fact that people are trying to be like, that doesn't even look like a Nazi salute. Like, be so for real. I would put this in a textbook on how one is supposed to look like. Like, I think, like, a method actor, like, if Inglourious Bastards were to come out today, I think that the main German guy, oh shit, what's his name? I think if Inglourious Bastards were to come out today, I think Christoph Waltz would look at this footage for how to be a proper Nazi, for how to play Hans Landa properly in Inglourious Bastards. That's how like perfect of a Nazi salute this is. It's just I had to make a jab at it in my video. I just had to. Some people are getting tired of like the Elon Musk jokes, but I fucking had to. Come on, it's so funny.
As well,
It's
advertising
terrible,
and
it's
communication are core parts of the human experience, and nobody understands this.
Oh yeah, and this I really liked this joke too. If anyone noticed it, the like all those like there's like a long period of time and still where people would like comment on. Like all these bot accounts, like OnlyFans bot accounts will comment on Twitter stuff like my pussy in bio, like my tits in bio, and there's like this meme of like Gimli, son of Gloin, going and my axe. I love that meme, so I threw that up there for communication and messaging. Also, for those of you who, for like are hunters, active penny hunters, in every single video since my Victorian London video, I have hidden a Blue Jay penny in all of my videos, in some picture, in some way, shape, or form. In this video, here at 8:32, the penny is right here. If you can see my mouse, that is the Blue Jay penny in this Times Square background, blended in as best as I could. I believe this was found in like a minute of posting this video. There are some demons in my Discord that hunt for the penny as fast as they can, and they're weirdly good at it to the point where I think they've written a program or something to find it. I can't believe how fast they find these pennies. I make them pretty hard sometimes. This one's kind of like an easier one. I think I'm watching this at a lower resolution for some reason. But yeah, it's right there.
It's better than soda companies. Coca-Cola alone spends upwards of...
This is also, I believe this is supposed to be Corvo from Dishonored. I think that's who I drew. But this is also another Patreon member's custom character that I threw into this video. Sorry.
$5 billion a year on advertising, with every penny going towards making sure that no matter what you're doing, the only thing going through your little head is just how much better things would be with a cold glass of soda. Amazed that LeBron can jump that height? Well, that's because he drinks a Sprite. Calling gamers slurs online? Not without your lemon lime. Son dying from epilepsy? Hey, that kind of rhymes with Pepsi. But getting...
Holy shit, that's actually another Patreon member
without
right
your
here.
lemon lime. Son...
This is, I really love, I forget who's who right now off the top of my head, but the Patreon member that requested this character specifically, I'm in love with you because you chose a very, like, fitting character that I can use quite frequently in videos. Some people, like fucking Amber, if you're in here, wanted me to draw, like, Mina from My Hero. This is a very risky search because of images. This girl, obviously it's hard to throw this girl into the background of a Blue Jay video because she's fucking pink. It was a very fun one to do, but just know if you choose a custom character, if you sign up and you ask for some crazy shit like this, odds are you're not going to see yourself in one of my videos unless it fits in a very specific context. Like maybe a Halloween party. I can throw her in a background because it's like a costume or something. But otherwise, you know, it's going to be guys like him. I'm so sorry, I forget your name. I should actually look this up right now just to make sure I honor them properly for their incredible support. I mean, it's because of my Patreon members that I'm able to still make these videos, because if I didn't have this, oh my god. It basically, my Patreon right now pays for my health insurance. It's insane how much that sucks when you don't have a business paying for it. This is Bill. This is Bill's character. This was Nicholas Corvo. The Corvo's the character, but Nicholas is the guy. I think he's no longer a member, but I might be wrong there. And then who was the other one that was Cameron was the guy from Full Metal Alchemist a little bit ago. Anyway.
See, hey, that kind of rhymes with Pepsi. But getting people to simply know about your soda's existence isn't enough. You need to get them to want to buy it.
Dude, oh my god, I was so excited to use this picture. For those of you that are in my Discord server, this was my like Discord profile picture for a full year. Like, I switch my profile picture all the time. Right now it's Gay Jay for Pride Month, obviously, with a little gay flag on a little stuffed animal. It's adorable, whatever. But this is like one of my favorite pictures ever. Like, look at this dog. It's so cute. He's drinking a little Pepsi. Oh, it's great. He's so happy. This is just how I want to be at all times. This is who I want to be on the inside. Anyway, I remember my friend and I were talking about like this picture or whatever and how much we loved it before while I was working on this video, and I'm like, I'm gonna put it in the video. Don't you worry, man. I'm gonna put it in the video. So he was really excited that it was in the video too. But yeah, it's great. This is like a really fun video to make image wise, because there are like, when it comes to like marketing images and cool looking images, soda related images are just S tier through and through. Like, I'm talking about how great this picture is. This ad here on the left is also amazing. This is like a perfect advertisement. Like, now it's Pepsi for those who think young. Like, look at this like beautiful model. The hair is really cool, blowing in the head, like over the face. It looks like she's on a cool vacation. Maybe she's on a boat or on the beach or something. It's great. Pepsi marketing is just S tier. Pepsi cigarettes is up there too. But I think soda is better because not only is the marketing great and the marketing images to use are fantastic, but the memes are great too. There's so many great soda related memes and like images out there that are just beautiful. No notes. Perfect. Anyway, I'm in love with this dog. I wish it was mine. I hope he's okay. He or she is living a great life, hopefully.
And with today's pesky scientists publishing their stupid research on soft drinks and their contribution to obesity, diabetes, or whatever other nerd shit.
Of course, the quota fulfilled for a JoJo reference in a video.
Soda executives face the unique challenge of convincing the broader public to willingly drink their poison. Hello, my good man. May I interest you in a scrumptious mouthful of my savory syrup?
What?
A glass of soda.
Oh, no, thanks. I've heard it's not all that healthy.
Nonsense. It's perfectly healthy, my friend.
Well, my diabetic aunt just had to have her leg amputated after drinking 3 Mountain Dews a day. I love this skit so much in general. I know I just interrupted it. It's one of my favorites in the video. I always love the chance to bring out this character. This is Dr. Delight. For those of you who like have seen a lot of the older videos, he's a frequently reoccurring character in voice that I love to do. It's so fun. It's so like, he's, you know, like a con man. He's used a lot when talking about. He's not like an official like character, because he's always doing something different. It's more of like a type of character. Like Dr. Delight was used in like the Wild West to talk about like all those like fake medicines, like patent medicines and stuff that people would peddle that didn't actually do anything and maybe actually hurt you more than helped. He was used in like the absurd slang video when talking like at a circus like performance, talking about like toad eaters. He was used in the Victorian London video at a freak show, like showing off all the different freaks that were used and often visited by Victorian era patrons in the UK and even America. So here he is, you know, selling a sketchy ass soda. He's great. He's just one of my favorite characters and one of my favorite voices to do. I actually I talk in his voice like all the time, just to my girlfriend and stuff, and annoy her, and it's fantastic. But the other thing I like about this video is all of the background sound effects and animations. So like some of them were really fun to do, like him pouring this little vial in the cauldron.
Oh, my diabetic aunt just had to have her leg amputated after drinking 3. Really healthy, my.
Oh, right
no,
there,
thanks. I've heard it's not all that healthy.
Nonsense. It's perfectly healthy, my.
That was really satisfying for me because I fucking nailed it.
Oh, no, thanks. I've heard it's not all that healthy.
Nonsense. It's.
So obviously this is all hand animated. I drew frame by frame like this vial of mysterious liquid emptying into the cauldron. You see like the fluid level going down. You have like all these like droplets wiggling around and the stream itself wiggling, and then like, you know, sputtering out. Fluid animation can be quite difficult, but it's also really fun to get right. I've seen other animators complain like crazy how much they hate doing fluid animation, but when it like works, when it looks good, it's gotta be like one of the most satisfying animation type things for me to do. I just love it. Like stuff like this, blood splatters when people get shot or stabbed or whatnot. It's very rewarding. And it feels very intuitive, and it just helps you see things in a new light, which is, you know, that's what art is. Art, like a lot of people think art is like learning how to, you know, control your hand better, but it's really more learning how to see things better, if that makes sense. Anyway, so just like in the skit, pay attention to like the sound effects and the side animations, because they're great. Like the sound effect worked or synced up perfectly to that animation too.
Soda.
Oh, no, thanks. I've heard it's not all that healthy.
Nonsense, it's perfectly healthy, my friend.
Well, my diabetic aunt just had to have her leg amputated after drinking 3 Mountain Dews a day.
But have you considered that maybe it just did that?
Her leg just did that.
Yeah, I mean... Who's to say?
Well, her doctor, for one.
Funny you mentioned doctor. I got one right here.
Hello, I am doctor. Really? What's your field? Doctor.
Hey doc, what do you think about my soda here?
Is good. Make healthy and fertile.
Oh, really? The wife and I have been trying for a while now. Does it help with low sperm counts?
We can arrange for more semen.
Ew.
I love that skit so much. It's just got... I packed as many jokes into it as I possibly could. As you can notice here, I actually ended up including the little like head mirror doctor thing that I talked about at the very beginning of the video, not getting the chance to include. I decided to bring it back here, so I felt like I did it at some point. And I love like the little dollar handoff. Like the pacing of that was important to get right to make it, you know, just really, you know, tickle the funny bone properly.
My wife and I have been trying for a while now. Does it help with low sperm counts?
We can arrange for more semen.
Ew, that skit was disgusting. Hey, don't be mad at me, Alex. Diet Pepsi isn't vegan, but the company won't say what animal product is in it. What else am I to assume, if not the worst? But anyway.
I love that fact because it's 100% true, and I think I repeat that bit a few times throughout the video, that Diet Pepsi isn't vegan, and they don't say why it isn't, but it's not. And there are like some theories. I can't remember what I read. It's been a while since I researched like some of the specifics of this video. There are like theories as to why it might not be vegan, and it's not. Obviously, it's not cum, but they also don't say that it's not cum, so it could become. Just know, the reason I like canned Diet Pepsi more than canned Diet Coke may very well be because of some guy's cum. It might. I sure hope it's not, but I'm just saying it might. But yeah, I think it's probably just gelatin. I believe that's like one of the theories or like probable ideas behind it. I don't know. It's not vegan. Just know that.
When faced with combating the sugar bad narrative pushed by scientists, soda companies learned that the best way to inform was to misinform. So if researchers are going to research, how about we buy some of our
Oh yeah, Science BS Part 2 Electric Boogaloo.png.
own? What, you can't just buy scientists to say whatever you want.
No, of course not. We could never undermine the ethics
Science BS Part 3 It Just Doesn't Stop.png.
of scientific research, but we can underline just how many millions of dollars we're giving to it. Both Coca-Cola and Pepsi are notable for having shoveled millions of dollars down the gullets of universities and scientists to publish studies showing that
I love this picture so much. Ugh, I love just drawing weird shit like this. That's what makes the animation side of things fun. A lot of times, when you're writing the video, like a lot of this isn't something you're imagining at the time. So it's kind of like for every video process I have like 2 stages of writing almost. There's the writing, obviously, the writing stage where you're writing the script and everything. But then once you're actually going through and animating it, you come up with a lot of new ideas while you're doing that, and then you get to, you know, laugh and add additional layers of jokes. And the end product of one of these videos is just that you have an extremely dense piece of art full of just funny shit, because the goal is that these videos are rewarding on multiple rewatches. I want people to be able to watch this video 10, 20 times and find new things to laugh at or new things to notice. And that's, you know, that's one of the pillars too, kinda. That's the quality pillar, making sure that every video is of the highest quality to really maximize that density of enjoyment for people.
the lack of exercise and not diet was responsible for obesity, a strategy expertly pulled out of Big Tobacco's playbook. Sure, they can't make scientists say exactly what they want, but let's just say a few Scrooge McDuck sacks of gold can have anyone saying nice things about you. Thank you all for coming, and thank you to our benefactor from Coca-Cola, Mr. Bernard, for organizing this conference. Yo! We're excited to report that after rigorous trials, we've been able to conclude that sugar does not meaningfully contribute to obesity. In fact, it's rather the lack of exercise that's the biggest culprit. And your confidence in your findings. Was it a small sample size?
A little fun fact here. I might have brought it up before. This guy's model here was the first draft of the model for Eddie in the historical slang video. If you see this guy here in the purple shirt, in the thumbnail there, here in the purple.
Slang, idiot.
That guy. Wait, is this the right video? Yeah, it is, right? Yeah, okay. This guy here, in the purple, his first draft was this skin. I wanted to draw a guy, you know, coming home from work drunk, and I drew this, and then I kind of was like, yeah, he's a little too uptight for the vibe I'm going for. I want him to be a bit more loose, and so I did another draft where I drew him like this, and I felt like I had drawn a lot of like shirt and tie type things. But I didn't really, at the time, I didn't really like his like belt and pants that I drew. I think now watching it back, I really like this design, and I could use it for more stuff. And I mean, I will be using it for more stuff, but yeah, that's just where that model came from.
Our trials were quite extensive and were conducted across many species as well. Everything from a hawk to a rat. Fascinating. We've also found that consumers...
I fucking love that joke. Everything from a hawk to a rat is obviously a reference to the famous and high IQ comedy that is Hawk Tuah, an onomatopoeia reference to spitting on an erect penis before you engage in oral sex. That's the joke. It's hilarious. If you're not laughing, you're stupid. That it's just objectively the funniest thing. It's one of those things where you're like, you watch it, you see the TikTok, the Haley Welch video, and you're just like, what the fuck is this shit? This is so fucking dumb. But sometimes those fucking dumb things, you just kind of start ironically saying, and then it just becomes so unironically funny to you. I went through a period of like this all of 2025 for me was my Hawk Tuah year. I was Hawk Tuahing all over the street. That sounds bad. I was just saying it a lot. It's just so funny to me. Hawk Tuah. It's just like, for me, it's like a punctuation. You just like throw it in, and it's so dumb, and everyone reacts like, ugh, what the fuck? Why are you saying that? And it's funny for me, just for me. And I knew adding in a little Hawk Tuah joke in here would get all the commenters commenting about it, and you little guinea pigs did exactly that. I had probably more comments about the Hawk Tuah joke than anything else in this video. I don't know if you'll see any of them in here, but I swear to God, that was probably the most common, like frequently commented thing I saw. Someone commented on Hawk Tuah. Maybe YouTube is trying to suppress it now. Here we go. Hawk Tuah rat. What did I say? Hawk Tuah rat. Yeah. It's just, yeah, this is perfect. This is what I want. This is what unity looks like. Everyone Hawk Tuahing together. God hates you for Hawk Tuah. I'm God. What the fuck are you talking about? This is you're talking to Blue Jay. This is the Blue Jay channel. Have you been watching? Do you see what he is? There's nothing above him.
Of the new limited edition Blueberry Blast Coca-Cola in stores now showed athletic improvements, and people that signed up for the subscription model using code SCIENCE for 15% off were all able to dunk, even with, quote, the rim like all the way up. All the way up? Surely they still had to use the mini trampoline. Nuh-uh. Oh my god. Furthermore, our research showed that executives of beverage companies last on average 15 minutes longer in bed and leave their partners 25% more satisfied than non-executives. Shit. That's crazy. I mean, hey, if the science man said it, you know. Even if...
Yeah, I paused that skit so many times. I don't know if you guys, like, forgot the whole point of it, but basically just poking fun at the fact that a lot of these scientific studies talking about how like soda isn't actually that bad for you, and how sugar is not bad, and it's actually the fact that you're a lazy fuck not exercising enough that's causing obesity, is a lot of studies that were funded by these soda companies. So I made a joke, obviously, that, oh, what if these research studies are saying all these other things that make the soda company happy, like talking about how awesome the executives are. And I like that skit a lot. I have a lot of like press conference type skits in this video, and those are always very fun. I think I found my favorite type of skit, or at least really high up there on the tier list, are the types of skits where it's a guy talking to a crowd of people. It's just such a great premise, and it opens the door for very unique types of humor and jokes. Some of the classic ones I'm thinking of right now is like in my pirate video. In one of the pirate videos, there's like the like British soldier talking to a crowd of pirates, announcing that they can all be excused for their crimes if they like turn away from piracy. And that's like one of my favorite skits I've ever done. Anyway.
Some of these universities wanted to conduct completely unbiased research. According to one analysis, Coca-Cola in many instances reserved the right to control what scientific findings were published and even terminate studies early without reason. Well, they eventually removed the cocaine, right? So clearly they care somewhat about health. Oh, trust me, Alex. Coca-Cola was more than happy to indefinitely let men, women, and children run amok thoroughly blitzed on cocaine. You know, so long as they weren't black. What? At the start of its lifetime, Coca-Cola was only sold at soda fountains in drugstores and pharmacies, where a man called a soda jerk would crank out some delicious syrup and mix it with carbonated water, or jerk it into a cup, if you will. One of your fine Coca-Colas, my good sir. No problem. Let me just jerk one out real quick. Excellent. Say, do you gentlemen do catering, by the way? It depends. Depends on what? Whether it's within 100 feet of a school or playground. Oh. Children don't make good customers then, I take it. Well, that's just what the judge thinks. Ah! So, can I have my soda? What? Oh, yeah, coming right up. Soda fountain
I love that skit. This is also a very intensive background to draw for only one skit. I might reuse this background later in the video. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but I think it literally just shows up this one time. This took a long time to draw. A lot of like building interiors where perspective is demanding just takes time. I I knew this was a rather raunchy skit, and I'm sure a lot of people had some crazy reactions to it. I know when I love when I make a video, my parents will often wait to watch it until I'm home, and a lot of times I'm embarrassed and like, oh gosh, what are they gonna think? Are they gonna find it funny or stupid? Because there's a lot of like Hawk Tuah is not something they will ever register, right? My dad was fucking dying at this skit, and that made me happy. He found this shit funny as fuck. I really like it. I always love when I get to bring back this guy too. My like British aristocrat voice is very fun to do. And I really like his hat. I think this took a few tries to get looking good, but the Soda Jerk outfit is one of my my favorite drawings that I've done for a character, I think. And I've forgotten about it. I haven't used it since this video for obvious reasons. I haven't needed to, but yeah. 100
feet of a school or playground. Oh! Children don't make good customers then, I take it. Well, that's just what the judge thinks. Ah! So, can I have my soda? What? Oh, yeah, coming right up.
Like right here especially. The
soda fountain next.
Looking from like the tissues to the guy back and forth, that really sells it.
Exclusivity remained the norm up until 1899 when Coca-Cola was finally convinced to start bottling their drink, especially once they learned they could make them all sexy-like with childbearing hips. Since OnlyFans wasn't a thing yet, sales went through the roof, which on one hand was great because the drink can now reach a wider audience, but also terrible because the drink can now reach a wider audience. You people are trying to take our culture. This is our drink.
No, man, I just like the taste.
Oh, okay. Then why didn't y'all drink it before? Well, not Rodney too. What's your excuse?
I just never got around to it. So, this is such a dumb skit. A lot of this is one of the skits that I had done differently at first a little bit, animation wise, and I ran it by some friends to see if they like liked it, and they didn't get it. And for some reason, I don't know if it might be the case for you guys too. And I mean, skits are always different for me because I know the joke beforehand than other people, experiencing it for the first time. So sometimes, like, the struggle is that you will, like, move too quickly and people won't get the joke, or you linger on something for too long because you think you need to. So it's kind of hard to kind of like gauge like what a fresh reaction will be like. So obviously you have to ask people. And I showed this to some friends and they didn't notice the signs popping up on the building as it zoomed out, which is the whole joke. Like him being like, okay, well, why didn't you drink, if you didn't like it, why didn't you drink it before? And it's because black people weren't allowed in pharmacies. That's why black people did not drink Coca-Cola. They literally couldn't get them. And then I, kept the joke going by like this guy being like, what, why the fuck are you getting into Coke now? And he's like, oh, I just never got around to it. And it's like, no piss kinks. So some changes I made were I colored the signs differently, and I made this one like pop with more of a red. And I also lingered on the zoom outs more, hoping people would see it. But I don't know, like, for some reason for me, it's like, how do you not see it? It's like,
take our culture. This is our drink.
no, man, I just like the taste.
Oh, okay. Then why didn't y'all drink it before?
Like, it zooms out and there's nothing else to see but this sign. But I guess, that's just because I know where to look. And I mean, to be fair, the camera kind of moves up and to the left when you zoom out like this. So your eyes, if anywhere, would be drawn over there instead of up and to the right. So it's kind of like a framing problem. Maybe I could have framed this scene differently to make that clear. Maybe what I should have done if I were to do this again is have signs in the ground here saying no colored, and then signs over here saying no piss kinks instead of on top of the building. Although it wouldn't really make sense. Now I did just see a question that I was going to address. I'm more curious why you didn't color him black. So that's the thing I've talked about in a previous director's commentary. In the past, I have drawn like African characters as a different color. But I kind of didn't really like that because I felt like it didn't really make sense. It almost felt racist in a way. Because like for here in like the Pirates video, because being white is also not a real color. Like this, like we call people white, but obviously you're not literally white. You're not like the color white. It's just a more of a colloquial term. And so to single out black people as, oh, well, they can't be white, they have to be a different color, is kind of saying they're different from normal people, like quote unquote normal, like air quotes, not saying that there are. And like, I mean, you feel weird drawing someone from, like an African country who has a very dark skin tone as being pure white, but then again, you're drawing everyone as the wrong color. So I feel like I should either have every single person be literally the color white or make everyone have a more realistic skin color. And so that I kind of decided, okay, I'm just going to make everyone the color white and then define their race with other features like the hair texture of people from, more like African races is different. Or like when I draw Native Americans, I will draw them with more, authentic hairstyles to their culture or outfits, or just have other identifying factors to, sell the race of a person. Like, whether it's the clothes of like the Chinese king here in the war tactics thumbnail, or Alexander the Great's, blonde curly hair. There's different ways to identify someone's unique ethnicities or cultural features than the color of the skin of the character, because it's an artistic choice. I want to have everyone just have the white skin tone. I don't want it to be different for a certain type of person. I just felt like it's just not, it doesn't make sense. It breaks. It's not like that I think I'm being racist by doing it. I don't think anyone would like look at that and think I'm racist unless they're just a piece of shit. But I think, and I think that it's just kind of, it keeps with a unique or a more coherent artistic style. So he uses hairstyle stereotypes instead, and that's better. No, it's not. It's not a stereotype. That's literally just the texture of their hair. That's not a stereotype. That's what a person looks like, you know. Same thing with a skin color. I'm not saying they're stereotypically black. That's not how a skin tone works. But yeah.
But not Rodney too. What's your excuse?
I just never got around to it. Now that minorities had access to the drink, middle-class whites became terrified that Coca-Cola was churning out coked-up African-American lunatics, with Southern newspapers even running with headlines stating, quote, "Black cocaine fiends were raping white women," only they didn't say black.
So I did say Southern newspapers, and it's New York Times, and people called me out for like, Southern newspaper, New York Times, that's not Southern. Yeah, it was mostly like the southern, like a Southern edition, written by, I think, like a Southern author. That's what I meant to say. I just didn't change the script when I put up the actual source. I didn't feel like it was that important, but that is something to note, is the New York Times. It's not like a specific niche Southern newspapers.
Naturally, Coca-Cola, who had hitherto been seen as an intellectual drink for well-off whites, panicked at the prospect of being associated with scaly minorities.
I love this drawing too. It's just such a great like little snap from, you know, being a little dapper can of Coke here, or a little bottle of Coke,
drink for well-off whites, panicked at the prospect,
and like knees bent over each other, and like all these shaking lines and the sweat. It looks good. I really like it.
To being associated with scaly minorities. But that's not something a little rebrand can't fix. So before it was ever even banned, Coca-Cola removed cocaine from their drink, not for legal reasons, nor for health reasons, but to cleanse their image of any association with black people. Don't get too worried, Alex. They didn't stick to their anti-black policy forever. They would later make up for their bigoted past by embracing the black community. See, they're not racist. They've got Bill Cosby handing out Cokes now. Just make sure they're not opened first. Now, when you see a company openly avoid African Americans, exploit and benefit from South African apartheid, and land themselves the biggest racial discrimination settlement in American history, there's probably one thought that immediately comes to mind. That's right, an open market.
That's another example of me, like how I said earlier, there's so much to talk about with this topic that you can't fit into the video, and I'm trying to find ways to shoehorn as much of it in. Like there was like a whole big boycott movement when Coke took advantage of South African apartheid for production of Coca-Cola instead of pulling out like a lot of other companies did. It's kind of similar to a lot of stuff these days with business in Russia after the invasion of Ukraine, and some companies, I think Coca-Cola, I could be wrong, I don't want to spread false information there, not pulling out when a lot of other companies did. And then, yes, it is true that Coca-Cola has the biggest racial discrimination lawsuit in history in 2000 for almost $200 million. Their settlement was insane.
And who else was better positioned to capitalize on so many unwanted customers than Pepsi? Always nipping at Coca-Cola's heels, Pepsi decided to embrace these neglected customers with open pockets. So much so that Pepsi even opened a black markets division in the 1940s solely focused on targeting the demographic. Only they didn't say black. This division focused on...
So that's a joke that I repeat throughout the video, like, only they didn't say black. They used
solely focused on targeting the
term,
demographic. Only they didn't say black.
The N-word term, but not the ER one, the O ending one. It's always like a hot topic. It's not like bad. Okay, no, that's not blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. It is bad to say. Do not say that word, kids. At the time, it wasn't like used in the context of a slur, and actually there are still some official names for organizations that like use that word. It's just it's the times, right? It's not like it wasn't like the same as saying like the ER version markets. It's a word that has since been stigmatized and is now not okay to say, but it was different at the time. So like it wasn't the exact same thing. It was like the equivalent of saying black people at the time, and it wasn't seen as a sensitive word. It was seen as a more appropriate word to say. And in all honesty, like a lot of teachers will still use that word when talking about like, you know, like the I can't say it obviously, but the N-word leagues is like with the O at the end. Ugh, it's so hard to talk about it. Is you know, a famous all black baseball league, and it's, you know, it's like an official thing. So I'm making jokes that they're really racist for using this word, but obviously it's a little different at the time. We have to be historically conscious. It's not like they were using the bad N word markets, which would have been pretty bad even for the time. It was more of like how a lot of people used, you know, the term black at the time. So it's just different. I'm not defending the use of the word today, just to be clear. I just know some people saw that and was like, well, actually, it wasn't really like racist to say that word. And they're right. It wasn't. I mean, not to say there wasn't racism. This is a hot button topic. I'm not trying to like make some big statement here. Ugh. You know what I mean. I'm trusting you all are mature enough to know what I mean here.
This division focused on advertisements showing black Americans in a positive light, avoiding stereotypes, and attacking Coke for their anti-black discrimination and support for segregationist politicians.
This is all real, by the way. I thought this story was really interesting to learn about. Pepsi was not a perfect company. It is not a perfect company. And obviously, the whole point of this marketing division wasn't because they were good in their soul. It was because they wanted to market to a demographic that were being neglected by their competitor. Keep in mind, this is all for the sake of business. But even for like through the sake of business, they were doing some pretty cool things, like attacking Coke for supporting you know, Herman Talmadge here. He's a terrible person, a big segregationist, and a piece of shit. And while their motivations were purely profit, they did the right thing in the process by shitting on this guy and trying to use that to push people away from Coca-Cola. And also, these are real ads. It's kind of crazy. Like these are some bad ads, and I could have shown way worse, but obviously, you know, this is YouTube. I can't show the worst there is out there for racist advertisements, but yeah, it was kind of cool. Like they put in a lot of effort, and it was really progressive for the time. As we'll learn, a lot of, you know, white supremacists really fucking hated Pepsi for this like big pro African American push, making them seem like people, not like animals or like caricatures. They were seen as people that deserved as much attention and marketing as any other people. And that's impressive for the time. It really was, and they deserve some props for that. I think that's kind of cool. Again, this is all because of profit, but still, it's progress nonetheless.
The push was a huge success, resulting in black Americans being 3 times more likely to buy Pepsi over Coke, all while the marketing team received discrimination themselves from their co-workers and even threats from the KKK.
We warned you, Pepsi. This was y'all's doing. String 'em up, boys.
Wait. Demography targeted advertising.
That's such a dumb skit. I fucking love that. If I were to change anything about it, if I had more time, I would have made this cam like a shaky cam, like it's being handheld instead of still like on a tripod. But man, this skit was so fun to do. Them hanging a bottle of Pepsi is so funny to me. And I loved like putting the little angry frowny faces as their little symbols here. Yeah, I think I use this one of these pictures as like my marketing coming up for this video about to come out, and I was like, oh boy, I really wonder what people are gonna guess the topic is, seeing the fucking KKK being drawn in my style. But it's such a perfect skit because it's like you're making fun of terrible people who did terrible things, but it's doing so in a way like you're not like laughing at. It's not like the edgy humor where you're like, haha, racists, isn't that funny? They're racist. You're making fun of them for being stupid, and it's like the best kind of skit you can do with these types of people. It's like, you know, Django Unchained with the whole KKK scene, if you've seen that movie, where they're making fun of them the whole time. It's great. drawing the bottle animation was difficult. It took a lot of time. Another example, also like the slipping out of the noose took some time, but yeah, like this took some time to do. Like, you know, you had this like spray animation I had to make. I had to like keep a puddle appearing behind it as it went. And then like the change of direction once it hit the guy in the face. And then like the different shades of the fluid. That took some time to get right, but I think putting in the effort to make sure it looked good really paid off. And this is actually the second version of the skit. The original version of the skit is up on Patreon as a bonus skit, but basically I originally had this guy go like, wait a minute, and then he pulls out the like paint card to look at his color, and he goes, we got an imposter, and pulls out the bat. But then my girlfriend looked at this skit and was like, I think it'd be funnier if he just didn't say anything. It was just like silent. And at first I was like, oh, but I like the voice I did for the guy. I want to keep it. But I had other people, I posted both versions of the skit for some friends, and I had multiple people say like, yeah, I like the silent version better. So I was like, all right, fine. And it's one of those times where, you know, sometimes people have a better idea than you, and you just have to trust the opinion of others. And I'm glad I did, because I think it is better silent like this.
Wait.
Demography targeted advertising
funny.
wasn't exclusive to race, however. Mountain Dew, for example, got its start making fun of poor Appalachians with the subtle mascot, Willie the Hillbilly, promoting the soda with his titular catchphrase, Mountain Dew, it'll tickle your innards. What the hell does that mean? Who knows? Perhaps it's a whimsical way of pointing out that your bloodstream will never have more glucose in it. Or maybe it was just more catchy than, it'll destroy your tooth enamel and skyrocket diabetes statistics. But either way, it sure is an interesting choice of words when talking about the people known for incest. That's disgusting. Well, it seems they thought so too, but that's not something a little rebrand can't fix, so they soon replaced.
That's a little catchphrase I kept trying to repeat throughout the video. That was something that I planned from the beginning of the script writing process. I have written down here, find some recurring phrase to repeat throughout the video that follows an overarching theme, like the oh yeah, like from the idea I got it from was my Wacky War Tactics 2 video, where I was talking about the H.L. Hunley, if you remember, the first successful combat submarine, which was used by the Confederates in the Civil War. And I had repeated throughout the topic, but not to worry, a submarine can be drained and people are replaceable. Talking about like all the times that they failed in testing and killed their crew, and it was just a disaster up until the end. I wanted to have something like that for this video, so I wrote down a bunch of ideas, and I ended up on, but that's not something a little rebrand can't fix, and I repeat it, I think, a good number of times throughout the video, so that's something to keep an eye out for. I've done that with a few videos. I'm trying to think of another one where like I bring up like shareholder value, I think, a lot in this video too, in other videos, and that's kind of like, that's one that's caught on more, I think, than the rebrand line. I'll see comments of people talking about that, or like in my Discord or in future videos referencing something. That's something I don't see a ton with my channel in general. I don't really get a lot of like references, like people using lines that I've written. I don't know, if that is something that happens, I haven't noticed it, but this is me trying to make a repeatable line that was kind of like something that people would find funny and want to reuse, I guess.
It with, get that barefoot feeling drinking Mountain Dew. Ugh, and that's supposed to be better? This is a Blue Jay video, Alex. Things don't get better.
Oh wait, I think that line I've seen people use a lot. This is a Blue Jay video, Alex. Things don't get better. I see people say that a lot.
While marketing is important, you won't always have control over your soda's narrative, so part of the propaganda biz is battling misinformation. But you just showed how Big Soda literally peddles misinformation. You're a corporation in the 21st century, Alex. Misinformation is whatever you want it to be. But regardless, there are times where these companies have been faced with actual falsehoods, some of which you may have heard yourself. Take, for example, the urban legend that claims a disgruntled Pepsi employee infected batches of the soda with his own HIV-contaminated
blood. It's a tale that's made the rounds multiple times over the past few decades. It even got to the point where the CDC themselves released a statement to debunk the rumor.
Yeah, this is a story that I had even heard of. Like, when I was researching this video, I remember reading about this this story that like was debunked and stuff, and remembering like, oh my god, yeah, I remember like being in 4th grade or something and hearing something about that. And it's kind of like a story that really was fueled around, you know, the time when HIV was a lot less understood and people were a lot more scared of it. Because, you know, a lot of people were afraid of getting infected by this scary disease that you can't be cured from and ruins your life and ruined a lot of famous people's lives, like Freddie Mercury. And so, like, a lot of ignorance, obviously, is what perpetuated this rumor. But yeah. So, don't listen to random screenshots of texts. That's the moral here.
No, there's absolutely no merit to the story. Of all the bodily fluids we've analyzed in Diet Pepsi, none contained any trace of HIV. Bodily fluids? Plural? I mean, we said it's not vegan. Another time.
I love that skit so much. The fucking microphone noise, and then we said it's not vegan. I had to bring that bit back. God, this video is just, it's so well constructed. There's a big reason why this is one of my favorites, and it's that there are many threads that are brought back from beginning in the video and referenced again later in the video, where it feels like everything is tied together. It doesn't feel like this is me kind of going down a Wikipedia page. It feels like there is thought and care put into every word of the script, because I spent a lot of time on this script, and I wanted to make sure that I was keeping a coherent thread going. I was sticking to a central theme and message, and that I wanted to make sure everything kind of had its T's crossed and I's dotted. I wanted to make sure it was all well constructed, and so an important part of that for me was making sure I'm bringing back a lot of these earlier jokes and references and finding ways to tie it in again, because it's always so fun when you're able to find ways to do that, and it feels very rewarding, and it makes the viewer feel clever too, for like remembering references from earlier on. It's always important to make the viewer feel smart, because you got to treat, they are, you have to, I mean, people are stupid obviously, but like people are also smarter than you think they are. And so it's always important to treat the viewer with with the intelligence that they have. And yeah, anyway, that's me kind of like detouring a little bit. It's not necessarily like saying you have to be smart to understand that I referenced the vegan thing earlier. That's not what I mean, but anyway.
In 2004, farmers in India began buying Coke and Pepsi en masse to use on their crops. By spraying the soda on their cotton and chili fields, the sugar would attract ants, who would then feed on the larvae of insects that were damaging the harvest, which makes these colas pretty great at pest control. Almost like a pesticide. Which is not a word you want associated with your beverage. Hey, can you pass me the pesticide? Yeah, here. No. Tell me you've not been using this.
Of course I've been using the pesticide.
No, Oddvic, this is Red Bull. Do you have any idea what you've done? No! Rumors spread throughout the region that Pepsi and Coke...
Just the joke there being Red Bull gives you wings, the catchphrase of Red Bull. It's a stupid skit, and I love stupid skits.
Coca-Cola were pesticides, requiring the companies to put in a lot of work to dispel these narratives. So it wasn't all that helpful when a 2006 investigation showed that both sodas had, quote, unacceptably high levels of pesticide, resulting in a ban. The Indian government would later say that these tests were flawed, but rumors are kind of like homeless people. They always stick around where you don't want them, no matter how much you try to extinguish them.
That was a joke that I made that I was actually kind of really nervous about. Every once in a while, I'll write bits of script that I'm like, oh my god, I think I might get some heat for this. I hope people don't misinterpret what I'm saying here as some kind of like personal opinion. Because, you know, the character of Blue Jay is a piece of shit. Like, he's not a good person, as we know. He's the villain of the whole show. So him, you know, hating poor people, being evil, torturing people, killing people, hating homeless people are all parts of his personality. But you still, you know, get nervous telling jokes about like are kind of like homeless people, always sticking around where you don't want them, no matter how much you try to extinguish them. And I thought people might get upset of me like making a joke at the expense of homeless people, like as if I'm punching down at them. But it's like, it's just supposed to be a funny bit. And I'm glad I saw literally no one be upset about it, and I think I was probably overreacting, because obviously I don't think homeless people need to be extinguished with fire extinguishers, and I obviously don't think they're wastes of space like RedJay is insinuating they are. But yeah, I know that like a lot of everyone in this chat, I'm sure, did not think anything other than that's just the character of RedJay. But while I just got done talking about how smart people are and how you have to respect their intelligence, you also have to remember how fucking stupid people are, and there are definitely going to be people that will see something like this and think, this is problematic, I'm gonna tweet about it. But obviously, that's not the case, and I'm glad that I didn't really see anything about that, so that was nice.
Misinformation can also be spread in the form of frivolous lawsuits. Such was the case in 2009 when a man sued Pepsi for finding a whole dead mouse in his can of Mountain Dew. Now, whether or not this was actually true or just some Tom and Jerry shenanigans of the soda factory isn't important. What's really important is deciding how to respond to this legal attack. And if we just take a look at our fancy decision generator here, Pepsi could either A, quietly settle the matter outside of court to avoid media attention, B, make arguments about the quality of their safety standards throughout their facilities, or C, utilize experts to scientifically prove that a mouse couldn't possibly have been found in the soda, as the acidic concoction would have dissolved the body into a, quote, jelly-like substance in a matter of 30 days.
I really like this section, because at first I was a little bit worried with this section because it's very wordy. And I was hoping I wouldn't lose people, and it all really relied on the delivery of the lines here, and I really like it because I think it flows really well. You have like this decision generator here laying out the 3 decisions, and obviously the structure of the comedy here is that I don't know if there's like an official like term for it, but it's the type of comedy where you have short, long. You have like you have 2 very like short, quick statements followed by a third very specific and long statement that is funny because of how specific and long it is. Oddly specific humor is basically what it is, but it's the type where you lead up to it with simplistic phrases. I'm trying to be vague because it applies in a very wide variety of contexts, and so when it comes to excuse me, I fucking elbowed my table. When it comes to delivering a joke like this, you have to deliver it properly. I mean, comedy is all about delivery, right? And I think I did a really good job here with the way I handled my vocal cadence, the inflections of my voice, like the part where I'm like, utilize experts to scientifically prove that a mouse couldn't possibly have been found in the soda, like the little rise in the couldn't possibly have been found in the soda that I say here. Is I think mouse couldn't possibly have been found in the soda. It flows really well. A lot of what I've talked about in these directors' commentaries is writing is less so about the specific words. While that is important, obviously, it is more so about finding a rhythm and treating. Like when you really get into the zone with writing, it feels like music in a way. I know that sounds very stupidly artistic and like kind of full of myself, whatever, but it is like that. You kind of get into the state of flow where you're trying to find a rhythm and you write a sentence, and while the words make sense and it looks perfect on paper, it just doesn't flow right, and it's usually because there's some syllable out of place, or you have too much of a enunciation on a certain word, or it kind of comes down to like iambic pentameter a little bit with Shakespeare, where you have like high stress syllables followed by low stress syllables, and sometimes if you have too many of the high stress syllables, it kind of changes the meaning of the sentence, and that it's a whole thing. I spend a lot of time trying to make sure that the flow is good, because it really just comes down to feeling like you have a flow. And yeah, so I think this section here just had a really good flow and makes this bit a lot funnier, I think, even though it's very wordy and there's not much to look at on screen. I'm basically looking at some glorified subtitles here that are in just like a neon-y font. Yeah, so find that flow and you can write well is basically the moral here.
As the acidic concoction would have dissolved the body into a, quote, jelly-like substance in a matter of 30 days.
No way they publicly said jelly-like substance. Of course not, Alex.
They actually said more than that, adding, quote, by 30 days of exposure to the fluid, all of the mouse's structures will have disintegrated to the point the structures, excepting possibly a portion of the tail, will not be recognizable. Really adding some colorful imagery to the soda that sports the catchphrase, it'll tickle your innards.
My day job before YouTube was a chemical engineer, very not literature.
Pepsi would continue to bring in experts to present arguments that Mountain Dew was actually more corrosive than your average soda, and while that might have been helpful from a legal standpoint, arguing that your soda, which already looks like toxic waste, is strong enough to dissolve cute animal corpses doesn't necessarily bode well for the marketing department. Thankfully, to my knowledge, Pepsi's experts didn't provide an experimental study for the court, but that didn't stop the internet's experts from conducting experiments of their own. I'll link to one such video in the description, and I do mean from the most sincere pits of my cold, dead, wretched heart to truly watch at your own risk. But hey, if Pepsi ever wants to truly embrace their hillbilly origins and release Mountain Dew Rat Float, at least they have a recipe up their sleeve.
I really love this can art that I made, the Join the Rats. It's so fun. I had a lot of fun making this. I did make a little mistake that I noticed, and I didn't feel like I needed to correct it. The little like bit of the T here, the outline of it stretches off the side of the image of the Mountain Dew can. Fucking whatever.
Or maybe that's just how they make Code Red. But how about we take a quick break from marketing to talk about another vital sector of the soda business, scaling and product improvement.
You were chemi, time for blue chip. Yes, I was a chemical engineer. So you did that IRL at your chemistry job? What, writing? Or the rat stuff? Yes.
To meet your new demand, you're going to need to increase your production, and to keep that demand growing, you're going to need to improve your products. Now, seeing this self-fulfilling cycle, you're probably wondering, when does one become satisfied with their product and level of demand? But now you're already making your first mistake, as the only question that should be on your mind is how to increase shareholder value.
That's the line, like, how to increase shareholder value is another repeated line in this video. And that image is actually one that I've gotten a lot of mileage out of.
Making your first mistake as the only question that should be...
Oh, I didn't even notice the fucking headshot. I was looking at something else. That was fun to do.
On your mind is how to increase shareholder value.
That, this image here is obviously, you know, a reference to the famous, like, Stonks meme with, like, the guy, the bald man. I don't know what his, like, actual name is. But I've used this image in so many videos since this. I think I've even used it in my most recent, I've used it in the Big Mac Index portion, I think, of my absurd units of measurement video, my most recent one, my weird units of measurement. I've used this a lot. It's such a great picture. It's very fun.
In 1996, unionists for a Coca-Cola...
Also, I wanted to take a quick second to call out the art. I forgot to talk about that. In every video, Cass, who is the artist for the Blue Jay bird, draws a new picture, a new hat for the Blue Jay. Ever since, I think, the Wild West video, she's been doing that. And, I mean, every time she does it, she blows my mind on how good of an artist she is. But this is one of multiple drafts that we had. She had this other one that I was really tempted to use right here, that you can see had a nice fancy mustache, very like soda jerky, and I really liked it, but I think it was just a little too distracting, and so we decided against using it. Plus, I feel like in the past, every time I've used a mustache, I usually put it at like the tip of the beak. Obviously, that's not where a mustache would actually be on a bird if they had a mustache, but I almost went with this design, but I think the reason I went against it is when it's small enough and it's moving fast, it looks a little confusing as to what it is, and some people might not really like it and think it like obstructs the model too much, like the recognizability of the Blue Jay. It is immaculate, though. I do love it, and I was hoping to find a way to use it. And I have used this mustache in similar videos since then. Cass has drawn a Christmas version of Blue Jay as like Santa Claus, and she used this mustache and added a beard and changed it to white. So you have seen this mustache if you've kept up with like every single Blue Jay thing that's been released. I've used that Santa image in videos, or not videos, in like promotional images since then. But yeah, this is just another draft that was almost used, and like variations of it that included the bow tie and didn't include the bow tie and whatnot. But anyway, very talented artist. I couldn't do my channel without her, and if you'd like to support her, she's in the description of every single video. This is her website. She's the best artist I've ever seen and does an incredible job, and does great work, and is also my mentor, and I have a meeting with her in 2 days, and she'll whip me into shape and make sure I'm being a good boy creatively. Anyway, back to the terrorism of Coca-Cola.
A bottling plant in Colombia were working hard lobbying to improve the wages and living conditions of the workers. Now, you have a business to operate and profits to populate, so when faced with this crisis, how would you retaliate? That's right, Alex. Why increase a wage that you have to pay every single week when bullets are a one-time fee? So the Coke plant sent a Colombian death squad to kill union leader Isidro Gil, burn down the union hall, and force the workers to resign at gunpoint. Now that's thinking with
Allegedly what they did it. it's obviously something they'd not really had to pay for, and it was something that caused a lot of problems for their brand. But it is kind of crazy to think, man, you can do some crazy evil shit, get boycotted and everything by as I'll say later in this segment, by schools across the country. And at the end of the day, everyone just forgets about it, and it's all fine. But at least the silver lining is Coca-Cola will forever, at least for the foreseeable future, have a section of their Wikipedia page titled Colombian Death Squads to forever tarnish their legacy. Yeah, it's a crazy story, and it's really sad to hear about and to see that no justice has really come from it.
Shareholder value. This marked the 8th trade union leader to be assassinated by Colombian death squads at Coke facilities.
Which is just surely a coincidence. Surely Coke had nothing to do with that. Like, why? Of course, it just happened to be 8 union leaders getting killed.
Igniting the Stop Killer Coke campaign that saw schools and universities terminating their contracts with the soda company. But that...
I wonder if that's even still a functioning website. I think I checked, and I think it was. Okay, good. It is, but I don't know if anything's been happening with it. I mean, they've been updating the numbers, so it looks like they are keeping up with it. That's not nearly as many visits as it should have, though, for how long this has been tracking the number. Wait, if I refresh, will that actually go up? Holy shit, it does. That's so cool. That's some old school internet stuff. I wonder if they've been keeping up with information here, though, because I haven't heard anything about the Killer Coke campaign ever. I learned about this story from my research on this video. I had never heard about this before. The events page is broken. Oh, wait, no, it's right here. Upcoming events. I don't know if there's anything coming up right now. I don't see. It looks like a lot of older dates that I'm seeing here. 2019. 2015. Yeah, it's just kind of sad that so many corporations just get away with stuff like this. And good people will do their best to try to inform people and like make action come of it with boycotts, but I mean, some restitutions were made, as you'll see, but not enough.
That's not something a little rebrand can't fix. So Coke went balls to the wall cleaning their image, scrubbing search engines and websites of any mention of the activist campaign,
which is probably why I haven't heard of it,
and pushing the results of a flawed UN investigation that notably only analyzed current working conditions of the bottling plants. You know, after all the death squatting. Wow, I mean, everything looks great. I think we're done here. Oh yeah, wait, what's behind this door?
Renovations.
I see. And what about this double-tapped gentleman right here?
I love the pronunciation of that. This double-tapped gentleman right here.
Ah, I see. And what about this double-tapped gentleman right here?
Technically, he died yesterday.
Excellent, excellent. Sir, we need to report this. Daniel, read the top of your form for me.
Oh, also, a little distinction that you may or may not notice. So he died yesterday, they said, and you can see that with like how the blood has since coagulated into a darker color here. And underneath the door, the blood is a lighter red. And the point of like what I'm trying to make here is like, oh, actually there is still shit going down. They're just hiding it behind the door. So like this is insinuating that, okay, there's fresher blood here, so something has happened after this guy died. So yeah, it's like a little inside lore of the skit.
Inspection of current working conditions. Exactly. Now tell me, is this deceased gentleman currently bleeding out?
Also, I know I keep interrupting the skit, but one of my favorite parts of the skit, like the little attention to detail, is the like wet stepping noises when he steps into the blood pool. It happens multiple times.
Exactly. Now tell me, is this deceased gentleman currently bleeding out? No. So do we report this?
No, sir.
No, we do not. However, your attitude is currently affecting my working conditions, so we will be reporting this to HR. The events would also spark an...
It's one of my favorites. I keep saying that for this video, but it is really packed full of some of my best skits, I feel like. I really knocked it out of the park with a lot of good skit ideas. The little banter there with the UN inspectors is, I think, just so funny. I'm trying to remember if I got like inspiration for that anywhere, and I don't know if I did. I just it just came to me somehow, and I liked it.
International lawsuit against Coca-Cola for the responsibility in the kidnapping, torture, and murder of union activists in Colombia. After which, the hitman fired 10 shots into Mr. Gill's heart, groin, and head, killing him on the spot. And does the defense have an argument? Yes, Your Honor. Has the court considered that maybe his head just did that? Coke would end up winning the case due to a lack of evidence, and both they and the bottling plant would forever deny.
It's terrible. Yeah, they won the case, and I'm laughing, but that's because of the joke. Have you considered that maybe his head just did that? Again, I've said this many times, but it's another callback to another joke made earlier, when during this part here, the gulp slurp bit.
My savory syrup.
What?
A glass of soda.
Oh, no, thanks. I've heard it's not all that healthy.
Nonsense, it's perfectly healthy, my friend.
Well, my diabetic aunt just had to have her leg amputated after drinking 3 Mountain Dews a day.
But have you considered that maybe it just did that?
It just did that is such a fun joke. And I thought it'd be fun to bring it back again. I've done that a lot in this video, and I think it's always fun to find ways to do that. And the more you do it, the more it feels like it's like it's an overall like well-crafted work that you have a bunch of like a big whiteboard up with a bunch of strings connecting the dots, you know. That's the kind of feeling you get when you write something that has a lot of these closed references brought back.
Bottling plant would forever deny any connections with the Colombian death squads. So I guess they killed unionists, forced workers to resign, and even murdered the widow of Isidro Gil, who continued to protest her husband's death, leaving their 2 children orphaned because they felt like it.
Yeah, I said they got some restitutions. They didn't. There just really wasn't any positive resolutions.
I mean,
other than, I guess, I think Coke tries harder to not do it. I don't really have any silver lining, unfortunately. Sometimes history just sucks, you know.
Obviously, that can't all be a coincidence. How can they possibly treat these people this way? Hey, when you're outside the US, you can get away with a lot with those who you don't view as people. And inside the US, the same can be said with those who literally aren't people. Animal testing has been a hot button issue since as far back as the 1800s, with corporations and scientists alike selecting, injecting, and dissecting practically every one of God's creations.
This picture of Sonic the Hedgehog here, I like to use it every time I can. I first used it for those of you who are more versed in the Blue Jay videos, if you remember the Cold War video. When I'm talking about the Tu-22, the Man-Eater, the famous long-range supersonic bomber that the Russians developed that was just a huge problem. It had a 25% mortality rate. It was a terrible piece of aircraft. It had many design flaws, and one of the design flaws was the fact that many of the levers and controls were precariously out of place for the pilots trying to control the plane, to the point where they described the plane as an inverted hedgehog. And so naturally, I thought it'd be fun to draw an inverted hedgehog. And so I drew Inside Out Sonic, and it's such a terrible picture. And I like to use it every chance I get. And I thought, oh, dissecting animals, why not use my inverted hedgehog drawing again?
And Coca-Cola, ever seeking the perfection of their craft, decided why not try their hand at this animal testing strat. But where a cosmetic company might test their lipstick on a rabbit to examine skin sensitivity, how might Coca-Cola test their soda on a chimp to examine sweetness reception?
Oh my god, space chimps. I totally forgot I put this in this video. I don't even know I ever watched this second movie. I just thought it was funny. Sometimes I just like adding random pictures like this, but Space Chimps was a movie that I watched as a kid way back in the day, and I don't remember anything other than this one line by the main monkey, voiced by I think Adam Sandberg, where he is like talking to this either other monkey or alien, and he just goes like, "Oh man, he's drunk," and I just thought that was so funny. Like, that was the funniest shit to me as a kid. Like, being drunk there was a time, I don't know if it was like this for any of you guys, but as a kid, drunk was so funny. I remember, like, in the earliest days of YouTube, I don't know if anyone else shares this experience, but like, I would just kind of like look up things. There wasn't always things on the homepage I wanted to watch, so you just kind of searched random shit. And sometimes you just type in random words to see if you get something funny. And I remember typing in, oh my god, I wonder if it's still a video. I like, me with a few friends, we typed in drunk Yoda, because we're like, oh, drunk, that's funny. Yoda, he's cool. And then I got, oh my god, this is it. I'm pretty sure this is the exact video. 18 years ago. Oh my god. Yeah. Yoda gets drunk and calls his ex. Oh, I can't play that. Old YouTube music. Yeah, it was funny. I don't remember anything in it other than Yoda's like getting fucked up, like this puppet of Yoda, and it was the funniest shit of all time. Who is this guy? Is he still making stuff? Oh my god. Hell yeah. Hey Alex, if you ever see this, you're goated. That video was my shit.
Okay, hear me out. Coca-Cola decided that the optimal way to test sweetness was to take a chimpanzee, cut open its face, and study the nerve impulses that are used in the perception of sweet tastes. Now, is it ethical to skin animal faces Hannibal Lecter style to find out if their soda is finger-licking good? That's right, it doesn't matter, as the integrity of the primate's face has no impact on shareholder value. But regardless,
it's what it all comes down to at the end of the day. It is really interesting that, I mean, obviously you kind of, I don't know. It's very weird to me that they did the test this way. I felt like there were very different ways you can go about doing it. Apparently some people in R&D decided this was the most efficient way to go about testing for sweetness. And I mean, there are valid arguments as to why you would want to do animal testing for things like this, because it's really hard to get human testing approved, or if anything, God forbid, went wrong with some new concoction that you're brewing and you try it on a person first and the person dies or gets some kind of irreparable damage neurologically, you're fucked. But then again, there are surely better ways to go about this than cutting open a monkey's face, you'd think. At the end of the day, very bad look for a company to be cutting open animals alive in any way. So, a crazy story to learn about.
Public pressure resulted in Coca-Cola pledging to cease all unnecessary animal testing in 2007. But they still have employees.
A little bitter.
You could just ask me. John, please sedate the monkey. As you can...
The kind of the joke there, again, this is like a bit where I'm relying on my audience's intelligence to piece together the point of a joke. They specify unnecessary animal testing is what they're curbing. That could mean literally nothing, because by their definition, they might say all the animal testing that they have been doing is necessary animal testing, so they will continue to do business as usual. We don't really know. But, I mean, it sounds good from a PR perspective. Like, oh, you know, little Susan, like 70-year-old Susan at home can now drink her Coke happy, knowing they promised to not do necessary or unnecessary animal testing. And, I mean, it's a good American company. Why would they go back on their word, you know? But it's kind of like a nothing burger of a statement, because they're not really promising anything, depending on how you define the word necessary. So that's kind of the joke I'm making there is, you know, oh, this is still necessary testing. We'll just use our employees, and this is the way I make it wacky.
And see, by following the gods of profit, the world is your oyster, Alex. Sure, your manufacturing might decimate local water supplies for impoverished communities, but making sure people have water doesn't increase shareholder value. Selling it back to them in a bottle does.
That's, again, I've said this like, 3 times now. This video topic is so packed full of information, I just could not fit everything in, and I was trying to find ways to shoehorn as much as I could. And this is a big issue when it comes to massive bottling plants and where places that Coca-Cola and other companies too choose to set up shop. Now it's more of a hot button topic when it comes to AI data centers, but the water usage of these companies, and oftentimes the places that they choose to set up shop are places where it's the cheapest for them to set up shop in terms of like regulations and local labor prices and whatnot. And because of that, they end up sucking a lot of these resources from their local communities and causing these massive problems to the point where you have people dying and being worse for wear health-wise because they literally cannot get access to fresh water due to the massive demand of these huge industrial complexes. And then, yeah, at the time of this video, it wasn't talked about as much. I mean, this is a year ago, so it was still being talked about, but it's become much more of a hot button topic with AI data centers rather than soda companies. But just know, it's not just data centers that pollute local communities. It's all kinds of massive, irresponsible industry.
This feels more and more like Nazi Germany shit. Alex, how dare you besmirch the good name of Coke? Calling the delicious bottled freedom that is Coca-Cola a Nazi brand is completely uncalled for. That would be Fanta.
Again, that's just another example of me trying to shove in as many facts as I can, and it's the fact that the origins of Fanta comes from Nazi Germany needing to develop a new kind of soda now that like Coca-Cola and stuff like that can't be sold there, and then Coke later acquired Fanta. But that's a whole other topic. That's a pretty famous story. A lot of you probably heard that already.
Now that you've got your production scaling to greater and greater outputs, so too must you market on an ever-growing scale.
Yeah, this is just a video I came across. I don't remember how. That's just a crazy thumbnail. It's insane to think how different the world can be depending on what you consume. That's fucking nuts to me.
And sure, this can easily be done with stuff like stadium advertising, product placement, releasing iPhone apps that objectify women and teach pickup lines to help you get laid, etc.
Yeah, that's again, I think like at this point in the video, I was like, at the script, I'm at page like 10 or whatever, and I'm like, fuck, I have so much more to talk about. I need to get these in here. I gotta find a way to talk about it. And this was another topic I wanted to talk about when it came to, I think, the marketing section. Basically, yeah, this is like a whole controversy where Pepsi released this iPhone app that like taught you pickup lines, and was really just like, it had all these like stereotypical women caricatures that you're like trying to like hit on and stuff, and it was a bad look, and something they apologized for. It's just so fucking dumb.
But nothing quite scratches the fun itch like sweepstakes. Do you ever watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory while slurping down a cola and wish that you too could find yourself a golden ticket amongst the caramely syrup slithering its way into your mouth? Well, apparently—
Oh man, I loved that little bit of animation there. I forgot about that. That's something that took some time too. I did some new styles here.
Find yourself a golden ticket amongst the caramely syrups.
The shaking of the arm, I think, came out perfectly. I had it like jittering in all the right directions to really sell that. And then like the swoop into the mouth I used the this animation blurring technique here where you draw like multiple copies of items and like add in like the smearing lines here. This is something that I've seen a ton, but I really got the idea to start trying it after rewatching some old animation by Hot Diggity Demon on YouTube. If you guys are familiar with him, he's an amazing animator. His name is Max. Am I spelling this right? Hot Diggity Demon FNAF, sure. This guy, he makes some great videos. He's an amazing animator. Actually, he hasn't really been able to animate recently, and I learned it was because of I think he has like an injury to his hand or his arm from like wear and tear of just animating so much, and now he really just can't, which is a shame if that's true. I just saw that on social media though, so I don't really know, but I was watching like some of his animation work, and he's extremely talented, and I saw him do that with, I think it was this video specifically. Just gonna look real quick, see if I can find it. I think it's like right there, literally right there. The way this guy like moves his arm, you see it has that exact same smear frame added here, where he's pointing at the computer. You have 3 drawings of his arm, the smearing lines. That's the exact same thing I did here, and I mean, it's not something that he like originated. This is a classic animation technique, but it's just an idea that I thought of trying to do based off of rewatching this video. Yeah. Anyway, a little history there. I think I've talked about that in another video too.
Slithering its way into your mouth? Well, apparently some freak at Coca-Cola did, as this was essentially the premise for the Magican promotion in 1990. A Magican was a disguise.
Also, look at that ad. Oh my god, that's
essentially
beautiful.
the premise for the Magican.
Look at that, dude. It's so wizard and shit. That's awesome. You have the little wizard hat and the wand. God, yeah. I mean, I know wizards are like kind of hip and in now. It's become like a very popular thing, but man, 1990, they were doing some classic wizard posting. That's so sick. Dude, again, they were on top of the world with their advertising. What are you doing, Coke, with these AI ads? God, this shit was so sick. I wish I could drink your Coke because of this.
In promotion in 1990. A Magican was a disguised Coke can, but instead of containing diabetes juice, it was stuffed with a spring-loaded mechanism that popped out a cash prize or coupon. However, to make sure their secret Magicans not only looked, but also felt like a can of Coke, they needed to partially fill them with some kind of liquid. So what liquid did Coca-Cola decide to put in their Coca-Cola promotional can disguised to look like Coca-Cola? That's right, chlorinated water. This liquid was put in a sealed area of the can, but just in
and that sounds a lot worse than it is, which is kind of the point. It's a little I wouldn't say disingenuous, but it is just kind of a crazy concept. Like, they did put chlorinated water in these cans to just weigh them down, but it's not because they were like, oh, chlorine is cheap and let's just shove it in a can. Chlorinated water is just to prevent algae. It's like pool water. It's not like a dangerous level of chlorine, but it is still kind of an odd choice of a thing to put in a can that someone might accidentally drink. Now, granted, they're not like, they ideally wouldn't be able to drink anything because the can is designed to not have any fluid accessible through the typical opening procedure of a can. But as we will learn, manufacturing defects are a thing, and when there is fluid in some way, shape, or form, it'll find a way out of whatever it's stored in. So I just feel like, you know, you could have just put Coke in there, because you already store Coke that way, and it's able to be stored for fucking decades, essentially. I mean, I don't know about literally, but for a long enough time, you can have Coke in the can still. I don't know, it's just an odd choice. I mean, obviously, it's cheaper to use chlorinated water in your Coke can. If you did actually put Coke in your Magican, people might be incentivized to try to, like, fucking stab in it to drink the Coke anyway and also get the prize. So, I get it. It's just, it's not like they did anything really wrong by putting chlorinated water in it. There's just maybe a different way they could have gone about it. I don't know. It's hard, because, like, what else do you put in it? Do you put in Coke? Well, then you have the problem, like I said, where they might be trying to access the can anyway, and then it's like, it's more expensive to produce. They get both the prize and the Coke can, and it kind of makes everything more expensive and dangerous. Do you put chlorinated water in it? You prevent algae. It's pretty safe to drink if people accidentally do, but as you'll see, some people still had problems drinking it and were hospitalized. And then what do? Do you put like some solid weight in there that no one will want to drink and no one will accidentally drink? Well, then now it doesn't really feel like a can of liquid, and you don't have anyone, you know, like people will be able to grab it at the store shelf and know that it's the prize can immediately. So then you're just kind of stuck and you're just thinking, man, maybe I could have done like a QR code at the bottom of the can, or like maybe I do a bottle thing where there's a little code inside the bottle and you can see that you get the prize that way, which is what Pepsi ended up doing. I don't know if I think I did end up talking about that in this video, I can't remember, but that's I mean, obviously the Magic Can is much more whimsical, and I always vote for whimsical. Honestly, I think Coke is in the right here. Maybe this is the hot take, but I love this idea. It's so fun. Codes are fucking lame. I want whimsical contraptions. I want a steampunk world that we live in. I don't care if some people die, damn it. I want companies to take risks. Kill some people for the sake of whimsy. That's my final take here.
In case it leaked, they added a foul-smelling chemical to the water to ensure people didn't drink it. As if the Go-Go Gadget money dispenser in your face wasn't enough. I'm sure you can see where this is going, Alex.
They drank the liquid.
They drank the liquid, yes. Tons of these Magic Cans were plagued with technical difficulties, ranging from mechanism jams to faulty seals. This resulted in soggy Benjamins, people drinking them, and one kid even going to the hospital after drinking the no-no water. Terrified of making their customers unhappy, but more importantly, of any bad publicity or lawsuits, Coke immediately pushed a big advertisement campaign with the headline, "Take a good look," warning people that some
So
cans were
crazy.
faulty and not to drink any fluids they found in their money-stuffed Magic Cans.
Yeah, we get pretty busy, so honestly, when I really have to go, I just use one of the cans and store them down here for later.
Mike, did you see any cans down here? Oh, the Mountain Dew? I put on belt. No, this is a Coke facility, Mike. Oh my god. So, due to a manufacturing defect, a very small number of Coke cans may or may not contain a foul-smelling but harmless liquid that should just not be ingested. So just look before you drink, okay?
I really love the movements I did for this guy giving the press conference in this skit. It's always like, you know, something you got to try to do when you have these types of skits where it's like not much visually going on. It's just a dude in front of a square or a rectangle, whatever, talking to, you know, nondescript heads. So you have to like have some kind of movement to keep people engaged. And I really like the way I went about doing this, like with his like finger like dropping.
Cans may or may not contain a foul-smelling but harmless
Right here.
liquid that
The like harmless liquid, and it like bends down a little bit. I don't know. I think there's a lot of personality coming through with how I animated him, and I'm pretty proud of that.
should just not be ingested. So just look before you drink, okay? I take it this is about the promotional Magic Cans that you probably filled with some sort of liquid to weigh them down, and this manufacturing defect you refer to must be a partition failure that resulted in this liquid, which was made to intentionally smell bad so as to discourage consumption, contaminating the rest of the can. Yeah. Their efforts would be in vain, however, as the promotion was cut short after a measly 3 weeks. Which, is anyone
Lame.
really surprised that the "hey, please don't drink the bad liquid" campaign didn't work? I mean, it's just like those little silica packs that say don't eat on them. Of course that's not gonna
Oh my
work.
God.
Like, what are they hiding? Clearly something delicious. You all should eat those. Right now. I mean it. Pause the video and go into your parents' room this instant and dig through their dresser. Pepsi also ran.
That's such a crazy bit. I was actually a little scared to post that, but I was like, fuck it. I think I talked to a friend of mine who at the time, he's now a lawyer but was in law school, and I'm like, hey, so like, can I say this? Or my thought process is, it's very clearly a joke. I feel like it's very clearly a joke with how much I'm emphasizing the eat the silica packs that say don't eat. Just fucking do it with a very evil sounding voice. I'm very, one thing I hate, and I get why people do it, I really don't like when a lot of YouTubers will like make some kind of like edgy joke and then be like, this is just a joke for legal reasons, this is a joke. Shut the fuck up. You're not going to get into legal trouble for that. People know it's a joke. You can make satirical or parody type humor and be safe from it legally because it's very clearly a joke. And in a case of like in a court of law, you can very easily argue BlueJay is an evil character. He gives a lot of bad advice. He tells people to kill people. He tells people to steal. He supports all these bad things. And now he's telling you to eat silica packs, specifically calling out the fact that it says do not eat on them. You can argue very easily it is clearly a joke. And so I always get annoyed when YouTubers or content creators will make some kind of joke like, oh, what if you burned down the 7-Eleven? Guys, that's clearly a joke. Like, dude, shut up. You're ruining the joke. It was funny. Everyone knows you're joking. You're not going to get sued. No one's going to watch your 2,000 view YouTube video and be like, I'm going to sue this man. Come on. I get why they do it, though. I get, like, you want to cover your bases, whatever. And I'm sure, you know, not everything is a bulletproof case, and yeah, there's always legal trouble. Anyone can get sued for anything at any time. It's not like you're ever fully covered from that. But I was confident enough, and I talked to people with law experience enough where I was comfortable making this joke. I tweaked the language a little bit to not be too egregious, and I framed it in a way that was, I think, satirical enough to be clear and safe from a legal standpoint. And I very much so wanted to not have to say, by the way, this is a joke, guys. But I found a way to do it, and you'll see that at the end of the video. I still do that, but I do it in a different way. Instead of like announcing it right after this video, I call back. Again, this video is full of callbacks to previous bits later in the video. But I actually add on to it. You'll see.
In a promotion in 1990 called Cool Cans, where instead of whimsical and convoluted spring contraptions, they just wrote codes at the bottom of the cans. However, even Pepsi wouldn't be safe from the controversy bug, as apparently if you stacked two of these cans on top of each other in just the right way, the word sex would appear and shock the delicate hearts of proper God-fearing Christians across America. While being one of the stupidest controversies I've ever heard, imagining the worst case scenario for some parent genuinely outraged at this obscure coincidence is very funny to me.
Another, mommy, another.
All right, sweetie, but this is your last one.
Yeah.
Mother, what is the meaning of this text? Are these glyphs vulgar? What have you taught me, Mother?
I loved doing that voice. If you guys are frequent RedJay or Twitch stream viewers, you might remember a stream I did, or a series of streams I did, back, what was it, like 2 years ago now? A little over a year ago? Oh my god, he's live. Wait, should we watch? Series of streams Oh, I just said that! Anyway. Load, please. I did streams on Final Fantasy VI. I played that live. That was one of my favorite series to stream. Man, we did so many of those. I voice acted all of the characters, and it was very fun to do, and it was a great exercise in voice acting. That voice that I use for the baby is very similar to the voice I use for Edgar in Final Fantasy VI, one of the main characters in the series. And so it was kind of fun to bring that back. I don't know if literally anyone put that together, because like as you can see, it's not like I get crazy numbers. There's maybe like 5 people that remember those streams and also watch my BlueJay content. Because believe it or not, I get comments from people on RedJay saying, yeah, I don't even like the BlueJay stuff. I'm just here for the gaming. And I'm like, really? I feel like I'm shit as a gaming content creator. But hey, I appreciate you guys. I think GT, if you're in the stream right now, I think you're someone that's said that in the past. Maybe not. But I've not been looking at chat for the past like hour, so I don't know if he's here. But anyway, that's the voice I used for him, and I really love the switch up to like a baby voice to very, very deep and serious, like, what the fuck is this shit? Sex? What is that?
years later, Pepsi would run a much bigger promotion in the Philippines called Pepsi Number Fever, where special bottles of soda were marked with a number under the cap. Each night, Filipino TV would broadcast a winning number with prizes ranging anywhere from 100 to 1 million pesos. That's roughly 16 to 160,000 gumballs at the time. Therefore,
Gumball
not
rep,
only
let's
could
go.
people satisfy their sin of gluttony, but they could check off greed with a lottery as well. Packaging two vices in one? Now that's thinking with shareholder value. The 1 million peso grand prize was worth roughly 611 times the average Filipino monthly salary, and only 2 bottle caps would have the winning number. With the magnitude of the promotion, a mania had engulfed the Philippines. Kids scavenged through trash, people fought over caps in the street.
I've used this garbage can a few times in videos. I really love the little graffiti I have for sub to Blue Jay on it.
And 2 Pepsi salesmen were even murdered over a disputed cap. So I guess you could say Pepsi wasn't the only pop in their stomachs. Get it? Like a gun? No, I got it. It just wasn't a good joke. Yeah, well, you know, they can't all be bangers. Just tell the story. Right.
I phrase that as like bad humor, but I legitimately find jokes like that so funny. I'm not ashamed of it. I love that kind of humor. Silly puns and plays on words. If you can't tell, I love that so much.
But everything would change on the evening of May 25th, where a
It just makes life so much more fun. How do you hate that? Like, you gotta hate life if you hate jokes like that. I don't know.
whopping 70% of the entire country's population tuned into the evening news when the magical grand prize number was.
Yeah, I couldn't find any actual footage of the prize number reading. So I got the closest image I could find, which is just from around that date. So I made this little comment here just in case, because there's always keyboard warriors that like to nitpick little factoids so as to cover my base. Like, yeah, I know this isn't the right date. This is saying, actually, it's not even May. I fucked up this. I forgot to, I think I like made a comment on that somewhere. Maybe. I don't remember if I think I did somewhere. This is actually not from days before, it's from months before. This is March, not May. March 22nd. Anyway.
Red 349. Somewhere in the Philippines, 2 people's lives were changed forever. Filled with the ecstasy of world-altering luck, the 2 winners rushed out their doors and were shocked to bump into each other just outside. What were the odds that not only were these 2 people winners, but next-door neighbors as well? In fact, what were the odds that a 3rd winning neighbor rushed outside too? And a 4th? And a 5th? And turns out 800,000 people had the winning number, with an estimated cumulative value of their caps being worth a staggering 32 billion US dollars. Obviously, this wasn't supposed to happen. Apparently, a computer glitch coupled with an extension of the promotion resulted in 800,000 additional caps being printed with the number 349, which they, I guess, forgot was already going to be a winning number. Oops, silly mistake. Better tell that to the hundreds of thousands of Filipinos storming the bottling plant for their money.
Yeah, it's just like one of the biggest clusterfucks in marketing history, if not the biggest clusterfuck. I mean, you'll hear all about this in the video. I don't need to explain anything any more than that. I guess like the only little note I'd have for this little bit here.
Better tell that to the hundreds.
It's a very subtle thing, but to kind of like emphasize like the whimsical ignorance of the Pepsi rep here, I changed up my art style a little bit by giving him feet. Obviously, my characters don't really have feet, but I thought by adding it kind of gives him this sort of like rubber hose animation vibe that just very so slightly changes the vibe of, you know, how he's moving. Obviously, you know, stuff like the whistling notes here emphasizes that probably more so, but it's just a little note that was an intentional choice here to make him feel like la-di-da-di-da. You know, thousands of Filipinos storming the bottling plant for their money. Even though Pepsi tried to retroactively change the winning number, the clusterfuck of this lottery was only just beginning. They decided to give the people with the 349 number 500 pesos as a gesture of goodwill. But going from winning enough money to buy a Corvette to barely enough to afford one in GTA understandably still had people pissed. Protests erupted around factories. Pepsi trucks going to and from were flanked by armed guards. Stones were thrown at Pepsi managers. This background was very fun to draw. I remember being very happy while drawing it because I liked this segment of the video. It's very well constructed narrative, in my opinion. I think I did a good job writing it. I know I'm like tooting my own horn here, but I mean, I am amazing, so why not acknowledge it, you know? Anyway, the thing that was kind of hard, though, was these like rice terraces. That's what these are supposed to be. I know it's probably hard to tell, but that's kind of like the ecosystem that they're in. And these are all, you know, hand-drawn lines that are very, very, very close together. But it was kind of therapeutic to do, because I think I was watching like some like Scott the Woz videos while drawing it, and so it was just kind of fun. It's like having a little podcast on while doing some kind of like therapeutic line work. It was very chill. You didn't feel like you were being lazy because you're being productive the whole time. But like looking at it, I feel like I kind of wish I changed it a little bit. I wish that these kind of curved a little bit towards the top around the face of the mountain to add a little bit more of a contour. I mean, I intended it to be coming towards the camera, which is what it should be, but because the lines here break at the outline of the hill, I should have either stopped the lines sooner so that it makes sense with the shape of the mountain that it's going down towards the camera, or make these contour around the face of the hill. I think I would have rather stopped them sooner because it kind of breaks the geometry a little bit perspective-wise. But, you know, that's what you learn and grow from. Yeah, that's a lot of thunder. I don't know if you're hearing that. There's some crazy storms that are going to be happening tonight. Wish me luck.
Bomb threats were made, death threats were gave, trucks were overturned, stoned, and burned. Chaos and lawsuits ensued long after the incident, but it took a year for the peak of the violence to occur. In one incident, an improvised explosive was thrown at a Pepsi truck, killing a 5-year-old and school teacher. In another instance, a grenade was thrown into a warehouse, killing 3 Pepsi employees. After what some say was the biggest marketing disaster in history, Pepsi's market share plummeted, trust in the brand was destroyed, but most importantly, millions of dollars was lost.
That, not only do I love like old school soda advertising, but man, I miss like 90s graphic design. This is such a fucking 90s magazine cover. It's got such a unique vibe that you never see in other points in history. And man, I don't know, I just wish we had some more of this shit today. It's so nostalgic to look at. Like, look at this. This is a great magazine cover. You would not see anything like this today. Everything's too surgical. That is our current design style of anything. It's very surgical. It's very clean. Everything's surgically lit and polished. And it's not necessarily bad, but it just feels like there's a death of individuality to graphic design and blandness. Risks like this are too scary. Like an editor would see this today and be like, why are the lips like an emoji? Take that out, make it a single bottle cap on the ground. And, you know, that's like fine and dandy, but it doesn't take risks, because this isn't like, from a technical perspective, the most perfect looking image, I guess you could argue, with today's more modern design philosophies. But it's that edginess, not edginess in the sense that it's like, you know, 13-year-old edgy. I'm talking about like edginess in terms of design philosophy that gives it such a unique vibe that I really like, and I miss it. Maybe it'll come back, and I think I've seen some more of that coming back in the sense of like indie games are having kind of like a renaissance right now, it feels like, where a lot of AAA video games are suffering and a lot of indie games are thriving because they're embracing more risk, more edginess in terms of willing to accept rough edges type of edginess. Anyway, that's just a little tangent.
The biggest marketing disaster in history, Pepsi's market share plummeted, trust in the brand was destroyed, but most importantly, millions of dollars was lost. And some people died. So, Alex, after what you've learned here, and from all your lessons before, how would you address this crisis?
Wow, I mean, I suppose the best thing to do here would be to admit fault and bite the bullet. We probably couldn't afford paying all the winnings, but maybe we can apologize, invest in community infrastructure, and compensate families for losses and damage.
No. What you should have said is, that's not something a little rebrand can't fix. Disasters are seasonal and memories are fickle. Just puke out a few commercials, flash some bright colors, bada bing, bada boom, market share recovered 2 years later. As for the lawsuits, one reached the Supreme Court of the Philippines after over a decade of legal battles, resulting in the 2 magic words that can cure any executive's ED, not liable. So, Alex, now that you're a proper wolf in sheep's clothing, are you ready to start?
Yeah, so we have 2 big stories, both for Pepsi and Coca-Cola, of massive controversy that ends up with, nothing tangible really happening. And it's not entirely true. The PR damage was enough to cause, some effort to be done in some capacity, but if we're being real, it's really nothing resulting in any kind of justice. Now, I think the Coke story of the Colombian death squads is far more damaging than the Pepsi one, but the Pepsi one was still quite the disaster with the resulting backlash and the death threats and the people that died as a result of the whole debacle. I mean, it's crazy. They're both crazy, terrible things that happened. Both examples of things that I literally never hear anything about today. Granted, that's anecdotal evidence, but I personally had not heard of either of these stories before researching this video. So they feel largely forgotten. And that's exactly what their goal is. And it's something that you can always, kind of trust on as a big corporation. Whenever there's a massive controversy, it does not matter how big the controversy gets. You could have allegations of hiring Colombian death squads, there's the word death in the name, to kill people trying to unionize. And it'll all blow over. It might seem like the end of the world, but it'll all blow over. And I mean, if you guys are keeping up with pop culture, it's a similar story with the bricks and minifigs controversy with $200,000 of Star Wars Legos being stolen from a guy that gave it to them in a consignment deal, and there's all this legal shenanigans that they're arguing that they don't actually have to oblige that deal, and yada yada. It's a whole thing. It's a multi-hour story that you got to keep up on. But basically, the gist is there's some massive public backlash right now with everyone hating this company for seemingly stealing Legos from this guy. But even still, that's fucking nothing compared to Colombian death squads or Pepsi Number Fever, and that's all forgotten about a few decades later. Granted, these are much bigger companies, they can survive the PR hit for longer, but I'm just saying, stuff like that is probably going to be forgotten about. And it's sad. It's really sad to think that, but it's just kind of the unfortunate reality. And before anything else happens, I might lose power because this storm is getting crazy. So just know if this stream stops, that's why. But I'm gonna keep going.
Making millions and paying off that medical debt? I guess, but how do I get the money for the manufacturing equipment, patent attorneys, and workplace rent? Ah, well, that's actually step 0. Phone a friend. For money.
Well, I guess that's kind of the culminating joke of the video. This is 30 plus minutes of me explaining how you can build this blood-sucking organization from the ground up. But the convenient thing I leave out is you have to have a big upfront investment to do any of this shit. The kind of the idea of the American dream is a pretty dead one in the traditional sense, where you can start a company from scratch and just succeed no matter what. I mean, obviously you still can, but it's just very hard to do. And that's kind of what I'm getting to here is yeah, I mean, this is all great for starting a soda company, but now you got to get money to do that. And that requires, having some established wealth beforehand, typically, to go about it the way most people do, basically. So that's the crown jewel on the video. It's very simply put. Yeah, so how do you get the money to do this? Be rich, bro. Have a rich dad. Have a rich mom. That's what you got. That's what you got to do.
So I could reach out to my dad. Uh-oh. Looks like you still need to claim that 14-day free trial for MyHeritage by clicking the link in the description. Discover more about your family history today. RedJay, I seriously need to know what you did to me. I can't remember my mother's face. Am I dying? Death comes for us all one day, Alex. Yours just might have been moved up a decade or two. What? The history of soda companies. 4 out of 10 stars.
So it's right here.
Don't eat silica packs. That was a joke. Unless, no, don't. But maybe, no, don't. It doesn't taste good. But does it? No.
That's my what I was talking about earlier when I call back to the me telling you to eat silica packs. I do add a little disclaimer at the end, like don't actually do it or don't, but I add to the joke by saying like actually maybe you should. Anyway, I had actually a fan tell me he ate a silica pack because I told him to. And I was like kind of shocked and scared because that was like the first day of this video being out. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Why would you actually do that? Like, come on. I made it very clear that this was a joke. And he actually did it, and I think he was doing it because he wanted my attention. But that scared me because I thought, oh my god, am I actually going to have people eating silica packs and then getting hurt because of it? And then I actually get in trouble for being irresponsible with my humor. But that was the only case I had heard of. And silica packs, silica is pretty much just sand. So you're not gonna get hurt actually eating it. It's inert, it's non-toxic. It's basically just something that might, if you eat a lot of it, like dry you out a little bit, but it's more a choking hazard than anything, really. That's kind of the danger of it. And maybe it'll like constipate you if you eat a lot of it or something. But yeah, that was kind of fucking stupid, and I did not like that he did that. I think he's like since been banned from my Discord for unrelated stuff, but yeah, I mean there's always problematic people like that. But anyway, yeah, and then of course at the end of every video, another little Easter egg that some of you might not see, I add these little like end screen texts that like slowly appear that are usually ominous and mildly threatening, and this one is threatening to put you in a Mountain Dew. So all fun in games with Blue Jays, various threats of bodily harm. Anyway, I will now look at chats. I have not been doing that. If you guys have any questions, start sending them. I will answer them for as long as the storm and or my bladder will let me. Where is my Harrier fighter jet? Oh my god, you're talking about the story about the guy, the whole like, yeah, that's another famous story. So there's a couple kinds of like obscure history stories out there. There's obscure history stories, and then there's like obscure history stories. Like what I mean is like there's always those stories that are like very popular, like little known fun facts, like the Emu War, the story of like Australia losing a war to emus. That's like a fun fact that not many people know about, but it's also everyone's go-to fun fact. So like I probably will not make a video on that because everyone's fucking heard about that in like the history community, right? Same thing with like the Harrier fighter jet thing with like the whole Pepsi promotion where like they did a sweepstakes and in a commercial they showed a fighter jet as a potential reward, and a guy actually tried to claim that and took Pepsi to court over it. That's another one of those like, yeah, weird history everyone knows type thing where I could cover it and I think it would have been fine, but it also feels like something that like a lot of people have heard of and it's not like something new. Not saying I have to do something that no one has heard of for a video topic, but if I have heard of it like a ton of my life, it's not as interesting for me to talk about, I guess. Anyway. Do you know what silica gel tastes like, Blue Jay? Yeah, I ate my packs, and you should too. Are you not? I told you to eat silica packs. You should totally do that. I eat them every day. Is that how we get your attention? That's one way. Yeah, you will get my attention if you hurt yourself. Okay, that feels a little weird to say. You will get my attention in a very bad way if you do that, but you could also just talk to me. I will hear you. I'm very active in my Discord. Anyone can ping me at any time, and I will never be bothered by it. If you ever want me to notice you, it's quite easy to do. I also read almost all of my comments. I love how Blue Jay has his own Smeagol, pretty much. What did he do, Mr. Birdman? I think it was some like racist like jokes, or he was like, no, it was like in a community that was like some guy joined the Discord and was like, hey, you have a guy in your Discord that's in this like very like alt-right community and they say some pretty bad things, and I was like, okay, we'll just ban this guy. I don't remember. I don't know. It was mostly my mods that dealt with it. Mr. Terry was here earlier. Do you like reaction? Oh, Mr. Terry history. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. So I kind of didn't want people to know that. So I do really like those reaction videos, like when a historian reacts to my videos. So I don't like regular reaction videos of just like people, stealing content essentially. But when it's like a subject matter expert doing history reactions, or like Dr. Mike doing medical reactions, it adds additional context, and I think it's very valuable because they get to do something that I don't get to do in my videos, where kind of what I'm doing now, where they just add additional historical insight to the jokes I'm saying, and it's great. But the biggest reason that I like reaction videos is it's like the one pure way I can see a untainted like reaction to my content. I will show my friends my script, my girlfriends my script, like my girlfriend, not plural. Holy shit! Don't clip that for her. My girlfriend my script, my parents, anyone. I can show them, but at the end of the day, they love me and they want to say it's good. So it's like, are they saying it's funny because they like me? Or are they saying it's funny because it's actually funny? But then, if I go watch a reaction YouTuber who doesn't know who I am and doesn't know that I'm watching their content, I can see like a pure reaction to my video and truly know like what makes someone laugh, what is something they don't get, what don't they like. I get to see like the true authentic reactions. It's still not completely authentic because at the end of the day, they're performing for their audience, and I think they have a tendency to want to be positive with their reaction because they're assuming that their audience likes me as well. So it's not entirely, pure or unbiased is the word I'm really looking for, but it is kind of fun to watch. But the reason I hesitate to like tell them, because I don't want them to know that I see it, because I want it to stay a pure, authentic reaction. Mr. Terry is someone that I've talked to a few times now, though, like via like email and whatnot. So he knows that I know who he is. I follow him on Twitter and stuff. So it's kind of ruined for him now, but I hope he still does authentic reactions to my content so that when I do watch his videos, I can see a pure, unbiased reaction. But yeah, anyway, so I do kind of like that. I don't know if he's still here, but hi, Mr. Terry. Thanks for joining. I'm sure he's probably gone. I've been yapping for who knows how many hours. Shoot. Where was I? He should have gotten the prize. It would have been based if he got that prize, that Harrier jet. What STEM field did you study? I am a biology major, and that's pretty rough. And it's pretty rough living in Ohio because everyone thinks an 8th grade biology education is enough to make their opinions valid. Yeah, that's going to be the case no matter what field you're in. I went to college for chemical engineering, and I worked as a bunch of different jobs when I got out of college, but my biggest role was a process engineer for the electronics industry. I was making ultra high purity gases, working on purification processes to make all the different kinds of gases that go into semiconductor manufacturing. So I was mostly in charge of corrosives, so high purity chlorine, HBr, and I also worked with a lot of inert bulk gases like nitrogen, oxygen, helium. Those were my main processes. Occasionally I worked in the toxic gases rooms. But basically my job was to make sure these processes were being improved as a process engineer, and addressing any issues that arise in the purification process, it was very fun. I also worked in a lot of these like purification processes involves cryogenics. So like, how do you make pure air? Well, you have to distill it like anything else, but usually when you think of distillation, you think of liquids. So how do you distill air? You make air a liquid. So it was really fun learning about cryogenic air separation and looking at cold boxes and learning about that whole
that whole can of worms. I really liked it. It was fun, but really what I liked most about chemical engineering was the theoretical side of things and the design. And if you want to get into the original engineering design side of engineering, you really need to get a PhD. So before I got into the process of getting a PhD, I decided to become a YouTuber. So that's where I would be now, though. If I didn't have YouTube, I would be probably getting my PhD now, coming out of school for that, like some of my other friends that are currently getting their PhDs or graduating with PhDs. That's where my path would have gone. And I don't know what field, like catalytics would have been very interesting for me. Same with there's some other stuff, but anyway, that's what I did. I didn't do any of that, but I was an engineer, chemical engineer. What other crimes did the gel eater commit? He abused my stuffed animal, my plushie. Actually, I featured him in one of my videos. So it kind of scared me. He would send me a ton of videos of him making these like inhuman sounds, but he would be like abusing my merchandise, trying to be funny, and it was funny, but it was just a little weird too. Like he would like take it and like chuck it in an oven. He took my plushie and like hung it from a tree, like lynched it straight up. He like threw it in this container and sprayed Raid in there like it was a gas chamber. All trying to be funny, and it was, but it was also a little weird. And when was it? It was my second piece of merch, I think. Was it my pirate video? Was it this pirate video? I think I showed footage of it. When did I announce my... Or no. I didn't announce my pirate plushie in that. It was, what video? Pirate videos were here. So it was, wasn't this video, or was it this video? I think it was this video. Let me see. Yeah. I might have put it in here.
Or at least I could be. Bandana and cannon, this vinyl figure is perfect for... I just couldn't get my fix of breaking and entering last time, so I barged back into the YouTube's lab to cook up this dashing little scallywag, complete with a tricorn...
Let's see, I'm just gonna fast forward through it. I think I put it in here? At some point, I used a video, one of the videos he sent me, as like an example of like what my fans do to my merch. It was kind of funny. God, this plushie was perfect. Or not plushie, figure. Fuck, my brain is fried. Yeah, right there. That's him. That's him throwing my...
Even more videos of you torturing my merchandise, click the link in the description.
That was one of the many videos he sent me torturing my plushie. Yeah, that was an experience for sure. Blue reading all our unfiltered thoughts is bad. Not as bad as mine, bro. Fool's doing nuclear stuff is pretty informative. Yeah, he's another... I think he reacted to one of my videos. I recognize that name. Whoops. Yeah, this guy. Oh, man. Wow, he's doing great. I don't remember what he was at. I remember seeing he reacted to one of my videos. I wonder if it's one of his most viewed videos. Not even close, it seems. He reacted to one of my, or I think both of my radiation videos, obviously, because he's a nuclear engineer. Man, I don't remember when it was. I thought it got more views than this. But anyway, when he did react to it, I'm pretty sure he was like a small channel, and I just like stumbled upon it. There it is. But I don't know. I don't know the story of his sub count, but I don't remember him being like a 1 million subscriber channel. I'm pretty sure that's like a recent development. I mean, his latest video is popping off. Like, good for him. Yeah, he's doing great. Wow, that's awesome. Anyway, yeah, this is an example of a good type of reactor. This is a guy that's a subject matter expert. He has a lot of great insight into all things nuclear and radiation. And actually, that's my favorite kind of chemistry was nuclear chemistry. So he's probably living the life that I wish I could. So good for him. Yeah, I have seen his reaction video, and I enjoyed his content. I've seen some of his other videos from time to time, I believe. So are you surrounded by yes men? No, I'm not. But I'm just saying it's nice to have access to unbiased opinions when you can, because no matter how mean your friends will be to you, there's still going to be bias. Is there potential for a video about the Nation of Islam in the future? I'm sure there's always potential for any kind of topic. I just need to be inspired enough. So if you have a suggestion, make sure to throw it in my Discord in the video suggestions channel. You can find links to my Discord in all of my videos. 3 hours and 45 minutes. Yeah, I'm a yap factory for sure. Harrier is kind of dangerous in VTOL. Do not want. Cool. Is that a game? Or are you talking about like a VTOL airship? Because I have heard of that. That's so cool. I'm working my way to organic chemistry, and I have heard it's awful. So you will always hear these classes in college that people say are, oh my god, it's terrible. I thought Orgo was easy as shit. I think there's always difficult classes for people. And I think it's just different for everyone. If you have an interest in chemistry and you like chemistry, I think Orgo can just be a cakewalk for you. It could be. It could also be a very hard class. But for me, my hardest class in college was Chemi Statistics. It was the chemical engineering specific statistics course. And they basically, what they did was they were like, oh, chemical engineers are smart people. Let's cram 3 semesters of statistics into 1 semester. So that was really hard for everyone. But I mean, there are some people that are more inclined to statistics. But for me, holy shit, that was hard. I did not like it. I do not like statistics to this day because of it. It left a bad taste in my mouth. And yeah. So I did not like that class, but Orgo was a cakewalk for me. Let's see. We do not need Blue Jay with access to toxic gases. Yes, you do. Miss your chance to get it. Yeah, I know it sucks having these, I should go back to the video. It sucks having these, like, limited run things, and, I know it's kind of a bummer when you miss them, but, yeah, that's just how YouTube does business, and I don't have any control over that, but I'm sorry, man. Gotta keep your eye out for the next one. Can you give us a hint about the next video? It'll be warfare themed. Yeah, so that is, I think, all the questions that I've seen come in. Oh wait, where did you get the footage of the Blue Jay in the intro and outro? That I got forever ago from a stock footage website. I think it was just, oh, which one was it? Video Blocks, I think it is what it's called. Yeah, it was just like a one-time purchase, and I love it. But yeah, that's where I got it from. That's because they didn't do statistics and gumballs. Yes, you're so right. That's what it ought to be, that for sure. Honestly, the hardest part about going back to school is doing it at 30 years old. Wasted way too much time in the army and then recovering from a TBI as a result of the army. Wow, yeah. I'm the old guy in class. Yeah, that's something I've thought about. Like, if my YouTube career were to tumble, which it very well could, I would want to probably go back to school, and I would be in my 30s probably if that were the case. 30s or 40s even. And that would, yeah, I'm sure be quite the difficult undertaking, and major props to you for doing it. I hope that I find a way to survive doing that again and reacclimating myself to academia. But yeah, that'll be quite the challenge, I'm sure. But all right, I think my bladder is going to explode. So I'm going to end the stream here. I hope you guys enjoyed this director's commentary. I'm glad I finally got to my longest video ever. Hopefully I can knock out some of these next ones here in the next few months. But I will be resuming with my Half-Life stream marathon, which if you guys did not see, I am streaming every single Half-Life and Portal game. I just beat Half-Life 1. You can watch the VODs on Twitch or my RedJay channel. If you want to get caught up, if not, it'll be edited into a video and released on RedJay. But next up is the expansions for the Half-Life game, and then I'm going to do a co-op game here, Half-Life Decay expansion, before getting into Half-Life 2, Portal 2, which is my favorite game of all time. And I hope you guys stick around for that. I've had a blast streaming these games. I hope you guys tune in for some more of this stuff. I'd like to do more streaming if you guys want to watch it, so thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed, and make sure to tune in. I will probably start playing the next game here either tomorrow or Sunday. That's the plan. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it seems like a good formula. That's what I did for the first game, so I might keep doing that going. Half-Life 3 will be at the end. I'll tell Gabe to release it. He's just been waiting on my call, so if I get, 100 viewers on my streams, then maybe I'll tell him to. So tune in. All right. Mwah. Goodbye.